today's lineup. It looked like we're talking about transgender in sports. Where do Americans stay? I want to do something a little different today, guys. I want to have a conversation with everybody that's in the chat. Every time I come in, I see some really, really good conversations going on in the chat, but for whatever reason, some of you don't come on stage. So today, I'm going to join the chat today. While Jonathan Bing is moderating, I'm going to moderate the chat. And I'm going to try to bring some of you guys up next to me and Jonathan B in the VIP. We're going to try something a little different. So, are we clear with today's business dateline, Mr. Bing? Are we clear with today's business dateline?
No, Jared.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right, I'm going to ask Mr. Bing to join me on the VIP stage so the beautiful people in YouTube land can see my man's beautiful face. So, Mr. Bing, I want to welcome you to the hot seat, my brother. So shout out to Jonathan Bing. Shout out to everybody in Debate News. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and get this show started. So, with no further ado, Mr. Bing. Oh, watch this. Wait, watch this. I'm about to get dramatic. Watch this. Watch this, guys. Let me get dramatic for a second. Hold on. Let's get dramatic. I want everybody in here to give a big round of applause to Mr. Jonathan Bing for showing up every day, 7 days a week, unapologetic, even if he tired, no sleep. Louder, guys, louder. Louder. All right, Mr. Bing, I'm ready, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Jerry, man. Oh, man. I'm just anxious to wrap up the weekend, get back to work tomorrow, Excited. Been a busy news week. And, today, I think we have up there, we're going to talk about transgenders in sports,
Okay.
whether it's high school or whether it's college or whatever it may be. See how America feels about that. But before we get to that, there's a couple of things that has been going on that we really need to address. First and foremost, Elon Musk. Ultimatum has a lot of the federal workers on edge. Elon, they sent out an email telling all the federal workers that they must send an email justifying, I'm so sorry about that, justifying their job position and what they've done. So that's something that's has a lot of people edge, and if they can't justify it, then they consider themselves terminated. First and foremost. Secondly, if they refuse to send an email, then they're going to see that as their resignation. So that's happening. Germany, okay, took a rightward turn where Germany actually, what happened with Germany is, well, they defeated Elon's party. Elon wanted them to go far right, and Germany's been real skeptical of going far right since they still have the Nazi stuff fresh in their minds. So Germany's not ready to do that. But the conservative right did win, and the left, the party that's currently in place, Olaf, his party lost. But the far right did take second place, but not enough to do anything measurable. So that's happening in Germany, folks. So I think Elon is like, that was a big defeat for Elon and the White House. Also, the Pope is in critical condition. I think he had an asthmatic crisis, and right now, basically, he's in critical condition. Still alert, but it doesn't look good for the Pope right now, Jerry. So we got to keep that in mind, guys. Keep the Popes in your prayers. Israel right now has decided to delay releasing the other prisoners. This is at the Palestine. The people in the Gaza Strip did release five more hostages and some dead bodies. So they're saying that this is because they have continued to actually, believe it or not, break the agreement. So um, that's going on. Cory Booker was on Meet the Press today. He was there. He's criticizing Donald Trump and just looking at these EOs that he's signing, that he's putting into place. All of these EOs that he's putting into place, pretty much, has no rhyme or reason. It's all about loyalty to him. And so, pretty much he's been calling it out. hopefully the Dems are starting to get it together and start. There look like this is the beginning of mounting a defense against what's been going on. Uh, Tomorrow, Vivek is expected to announce his candidacy for the governor of Ohio,
Oh
and so
wow.
he said he stepped back from Doge with Elon, and he's going to focus more on being the governor of Ohio. That's huge. Uh, and believe it or not, Cash Patel is looking. Well, Trump he just got confirmed as the head of the FBI, but Trump is looking to have him do double duty. They're going to not only have him be the head of FBI, but they're going to have him be the head of the ATF. That's something that
Wow.
is that crazy?
I never heard of nothing like that.
I've never heard of that
I got a
either. So
question for you though. You
yeah.
know, this job review, who's going to determine whether it was effective or not? This little weekly job review Elon and them are doing for the federal people.
Let's just put it this way, man. I think that before I go there, I want to put this right here. A lot of the Republican congressmen, they're fine. They're catching a lot of heat. They're catching a lot of flack because when they go back to the district, because a lot of them did not expect these changes and what's happening. A lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of that federal aid that's being cut. You got to realize a lot of federal aid goes to these red states. They're the poor states. New York, New
Mm-hmm.
Jersey, California, Washington, Oregon, Massachusetts, Maryland. Those are all very rich, wealthy states. They're all blue states, but they're very wealthy states. So these red states are getting a lot of aid. You know, um, these Republicans are going back home and they're getting it. I mean, their constituents is handing it to them. Now, getting back to what you spoke about just a little while ago, what you just asked me, I'm gonna tell you this right here. I'll say this that when you look at who's going to do it, I think it's a waste of time because if you got 3 million people justifying their position in emails, that means someone's got to read these emails.
Exactly.
Okay, if they're saying that if they're saying there's a lack of productivity now, okay, what do we? Okay, we got people reading these emails, and then not only that, who makes these determination? Okay, we're going to
Exactly.
terminate you because you didn't do enough. When if I'm in the State Department, I write an email like, "Hey, I did this, this, and this," and then they're like, "Okay, that wasn't enough," and then someone in the Defense Department write that pretty much the same thing, and they're not terminated. Okay, so it just opens it up for a lot of possible litigation, in my opinion. So that's where I'm at with it, Jerry. I think it's just a waste of time. Um, it's just BS to me.
I
So
agree. It seemed like it's selective. It seemed like this is just my opinion. It seems like they already know what they want to do. So they're just putting things in place to have certain conversations to justify the thing they probably already want to do.
yeah.
Kind of.
One other thing before we go. It looks like my man Zelensky said that he will consider resigning if it was the best for the negotiations for Ukraine.
Mm,
And he, Donald Trump
That's
is
not what he said. He
well,
said,
no, shooters, please, thank you. So, yeah, Zelensky said he would consider resigning, okay, if it was what was best for the for Ukraine. All right. So, with that being said, he's doing everything he can do to operate in good faith, in my
John
opinion.
Bain, why do you lie?
Can you please get him off? This is a monologue. Do not interrupt the
Why,
monologue.
why
Do
do you?
not interrupt the monologue. Whoever that is, do not interrupt the monologue. So, with that being said, guys, yeah, bring him back up, guys. Just don't let him interrupt the monologue. All right. So, yeah, please. So, yeah, once again, people do not interrupt the monologue. Once again, do not interrupt the monologue. That's a no-no. So and so if that's Mr. Benstock, I will call on him to do a monologue. I mean a Dateline, excuse me, after this. But he's more than welcome to do that. So as I was saying, Zelensky has said that he would consider resigning if it was the best thing for the negotiation for Ukraine. So that's what's been reported with that, Jerry. That's what's going on. So I wanted to mention that before we move on. Go ahead, Jerry.
okay. No, we're good to go. I appreciate that. And man, that's interesting. Um, I think I can go to our Dateline. I think it seems like he has a lot to say. So I think I'll start off with Brother Benstock, Mr. Benstock. I think we'll start off with him.
Yeah, but
Mr.
one,
Benstock, Mr.
yeah,
Benstock. First of all, Mr. Benstock, how you
yes,
doing?
sir.
How you doing, bro?
Doing
You good?
good, man. I'm doing good.
Okay, take a deep breath. Inhale,
Deep breath. Hey,
exhale.
di-
Okay,
di-
because I want you to make sure you really focus on everything you're about to say. Because Jonathan is ready. Jonathan's ready with his facts. But go up, Mr. Benstock. We're gonna let you do your Dateline on T minus 2 seconds. Go ahead, my brother. I got you. Go.
well, a good friend there, Zelensky, he did in fact offer to resign, but he of course put a condition that's dead from the start. The condition was that Ukraine, would be able to join NATO. That's the reason this war started, because he was pushing, along with the US of A, to have NATO in the Ukraine, which puts nuclear missiles right off the border of the Soviet Union. I'll remind you, in 1992, Gorbachev and Reagan made a deal that we would not do such things. But the U.S. has continued to do it, and not because we want to strengthen or protect Europe, but we want to sell arms. That's right, we're an arms dealer. So Zelensky's now coming to the negotiation table with what amounts to nothing. We don't need this guy. He's crying about the money. Get rid of the guy. He's a disgrace. You've got James Carville, the political consultant to Bill Clinton, saying and predicting the GOP is in the midst of a collapse and giving them 4 to 6 weeks to fully implode. Yeah, he delivered that stunning prediction that the Trump administration is in the middle of a collapse and will crumble within the next 4 to 6 weeks. Carville, who's 80 years old and his best days are behind him, urged his fellow Democrats to play possum and clear out of the way of the Republicans and let them implode. Doubt that that's going to happen. Our friend over there in Maine, the Maine governor, dared Trump, said, "We're going to sue you." Well, Trump has sued Maine and threatened to withhold $200+ million to Maine because the governor of Maine insists on allowing men to play in women's sports. The woman's sick in the head. Her people don't want it. The nation doesn't want it. But that wouldn't stop and has not stopped her. And I land my plane.
That's
Um,
that's an
Yeah,
interesting Dateline.
yeah. But
But
I
Mr.
need to jump in there real quick. Zelensky said he will resign in exchange for peace. Okay, a peace deal in Ukraine, or or acceptance in NATO. So he didn't say that I'll resign if we're accepted into NATO. All right, so
Check,
I
check,
just
check, check, check your facts.
no here. You know what? Don't you should never.
What
Uh,
liberal rag are you going to quote?
Oh, it's a liberal rag now.
Yeah, I'm sure it
No,
is.
it's a liberal. Here it is. Ukrainian President Zelensky said he's willing to resign in exchange for peace in Ukraine, or NATO membership, a major concession amidst the ongoing spat with Trump, or so guys. Once again, so it's just let's put it out there.
I tried to warn him, Jonathan. So Brian Benstock, buckle your seatbelt because it's going to be an interesting conversation this evening. So, Mr. Bing,
Yes,
I have a
sir.
question for you. Is there somebody that's locked and loaded right now that can do a Dateline this, maybe a little different than Mr. Benstock's, if you know what I mean? Is there anybody
No,
else that's
what I want to do, Jerry, is I think we're gonna get to the people. I think we have a topic here,
okay?
a very passionate topic that we can go ahead and jump on. So no, let's get right to this topic because there's a lot going on here. Because here's the thing: Ben Stock did bring up the governor of Maine, and this is one of the reasons that we're discussing this is because the governor of Maine, believe it or not, she stood 10 toes down with Trump. She told Trump, hey, we're going to follow the laws, the state and federal laws. And kudos for her. Donald Trump, once again, showed who he was. He tried to bully her in front of everyone and threatened the funding of the state and everything else as a result of her standing 10 toes down. I personally commend her for standing 10 toes down. And one of the things we're speaking about is transgenders in sports, all right? And, we always speak about, it's like every time we speak to the Republicans, transgender, even though there's such a small percentage of Americans, they become like the biggest topic ever, in America. So, there's people here. Marty Bert and I was speaking about this, and And this seems to be a very important issue to a lot of people. It's
It's
so
an
important.
affront to women. It's an
It's an
affront to
affront.
women. It has
Let,
Okay.
nothing to do. Has
You
nothing
do
to
know that
do.
there's transgender
No,
men
no,
and
no, no,
women.
no, no. John.
You do know that, right?
What's that?
You do know that there's transgender men and there's transgender women as
Well,
well.
well, well, the issue, I guess it's got to go both ways, but the main issue is a safety issue. I really don't have an issue if a woman wants to play in a man's sport and she can, and she wants to make that risk for herself of getting injured. I guess that would be her choice. But in reversal, I certainly don't want a male competing against my daughters. I don't, especially if it's a contact or semi contact sport. So this is for the safety of the women. This is John. Americans have been taught to turn against one another. This is for the safety of the women. This is not against trans people.
okay,
And I think that the trans people should be able to, if they want to have their own trans league, go right ahead.
Mr.
Sort of like the
Benstock,
Negro League, right?
Jonathan, Mr. Benstock, one second. Hey, Chad, I got a quick question. Can you guys put a 1 in the chat if you agree with Mr. Benstock, and could you put a 2 in the chat if you believe that it's okay and it's safe for whatever your reason is that transgenders should be allowed to play in I guess mixed sports, men and women together. But Mr. Benstock, go ahead, brother, because it seems like you had a few more to say, and I'm gonna pass it to somebody else. Go ahead, bro.
You know what it spread to, Jerry. It spread to women, men, former men in the ladies' locker rooms. It spread to former men in jail, going into women's prison and impregnating women, and so more and more male prisoners who have long sentences and saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm a woman,"
Oh,
and getting transferred to female jails and having a run at the hen house while they're there.
what
It's
can I pause you
preposterous.
for a second? Because
Yes, sir.
because
Yes, sir.
Jonathan's left eye twinkled when you said something. Jonathan, jump in off of what he just said. Because
Stop me if I'm wrong, John. Stop me if I'm wrong.
No, you didn't say anything wrong about women. Some men being put in women's prisons.
Yeah,
That's correct.
and the vast majority. I'm not even saying that they're raping the other women, but I mean, I'm sure there are women in jail that welcome the company of a former male, and these former males enjoy the company, obviously, of sex with ladies there, and many of these prisoners also, the ones that are staying in male prisons, are now entitled to have a sex change operation on the taxpayers, but meanwhile, if a woman wants to have breast augmentation, she can't get it covered under her insurance. It just seems like a real double standard, hell bent in the favor of trans people. And
I,
I just want equal justice under the law.
hey Brian, this is interesting. I think it's a landslide with a bunch of ones, ones. Is there if there's anybody that disagrees with Brian Benstock, put a 3 in the chat. I just want to hear. And you know what? If you guys are hesitant to come to the stage for whatever reason, put a statement or a question in the chat, and I'll read it aloud on stage, and we'll have a conversation about it. But is there anybody who want to jump on the mic that disagrees with Brian Benstock, or you want to say your piece on it? Period. If so,
Hey, Jared, just one last caveat. This is not an anti-trans person in me or a statement, but it is a statement of what I don't believe that they should be able to participate there. I'm not against how an adult rocks is their business, not my business.
somebody named Jonathan Howard said he 100% disagrees with the conversation. Why do you
Jonathan, get up
disagree?
here, Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan Howard, we'd like to hear why you disagree with the conversation. You got to be on stage to hear. Hey,
I
do me,
can hear, but I'm not doing it today.
what's your name?
Jonathan, would you like to speak to it, or you don't want to speak to it? That's the
No, I'm
question.
good.
Okay, all right, okay. Listen to me, guys.
Hey, Jared, what you found with the
No,
state, what you
no, one
found
second,
with the care.
Brian, 1 second, because I think the way that question was framed for the chat, I gotta be, I gotta be upfront. That the framing of that question wasn't fair. I think a lot of people, because I when you
It,
fir-
it,
the way
it,
you,
it didn't go your
but,
way. I
but, but
understand.
No, no, it's not that. It's not that.
Change the
Because
question then when it doesn't go
no,
your way.
no. What I'm saying is a lot of people understand once again because we talk about it. It goes both ways, guys. It's just women and men's sports and women and men's sport and men and women's sports. So it goes both ways. Listen to me. Uh, as I was saying, is it's just a small percentage, and we're discussing this and we're making this an issue. This should not be an issue. It shouldn't be an issue at all. What should be the issue here? Is there's some much bigger things that we have to worry about. And some of the things that we have to worry about and should be worrying about is whether or not grocery prices are lower, like
Oh
we
no,
spoke
no,
about earlier.
wait,
No,
stop,
no,
stop, stop,
no,
stop.
no, 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 no. Because here's the deal, Brian Benstock. I have a question for you, Brian Benstock.
Yeah,
Here it
go right
is.
ahead.
Here's the question: would you rather have grocery prices lower for Americans, or would you rather have which if you can only pick one issue to have fixed right now? All right, would you rather have this issue fixed or grocery prices and gas prices for Americans lower?
Great question.
Which one would you rather have, Brian?
It's not an either or question.
No, 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 Brian. It is, Brian.
Well,
That's
because
yeah, yeah.
one is
When we're
eroding.
having conversations, it is either or. Because I'm gonna
One,
tell you why it's not either or question
well,
for you.
no, the
Because
preference
because because this
obviously
thing
would
is so
be.
minute. Because this
uh,
thing is so minute. This thing is so minute that it doesn't affect you, and it probably doesn't affect anyone in this room. Okay, if
Well,
and for, it's people out in the podcast
can I
world
tell you
listening.
why
Yeah,
it does?
it may affect some of
Can
them.
I tell you
But
why it
this thing
does?
is so wait, Brinstock, let me land. This thing is so small. Okay, but you got Americans focused on this. Okay, instead of asking the president what prices, what about the
Can I
gas
respond?
prices? But you got them afraid of women getting beat up in sports when it's rarely. I'm not saying that it's not problematic or it can't be problematic, but what you guys are doing is focusing on the wrong damn thing.
Okay.
Next thing you're going to do is you're going to
Hang on.
start speaking about perverts, them being perverts,
No,
okay,
no.
or predators, okay, or pedophiles.
How
That's
about?
what you're going to do next.
Can I
Instead
speak?
of
Can
speaking
I
about
speak?
food prices or grocery prices and gas prices, things that really, really, really affect Americans.
Hey,
Okay,
bingo. It's a really nice try, and you've done
But
much
he
no,
has
more.
a he
no,
has a
you
good
didn't answer
point,
the question.
Brian. He has
Didn't
a good
answer the
point.
question.
He has a good point, Brian.
Jerry, let me tell you what he's done. He's done a typical Democrat. He took what the Democrats did and tried to switch it on the Republicans. The Democrats, for 8 years, have been sticking this trans stuff up our ass. It was the only subject that mattered
This
to them.
trans
It
stuff
wasn't
up your
fuel.
ass,
It
Brian. You
wasn't
gotta.
gas prices.
It seems like you have a fascination, obsession with
I
trans
do.
and
I love my
ass.
ass. It's really a good
Okay,
one.
yeah, yeah.
But
Like
they've been
you're trans in
sticking.
your ass.
They've been
I mean,
sticking.
what's the problem here, bro?
You see, here you go. They've been
No,
sticking this.
it's not here I go. It's
They
here
have
you
been.
go.
This has been the forefront of the Democratic Party.
Okay.
Okay, and what it does is it erodes the democracy. There's a law in place. This woman is challenging the law. You're trying to
Hey,
eliminate
Ben's
the
like, I gotta hop
difference
in for
between.
20 seconds. Just 20 seconds. Just in Jonathan's defense, because you know where I'm at with this, but in Jonathan's defense, he's just saying this. He's saying they both can exist, but how come the stuff that Trump said was gonna happen day one? I think that's what he's saying. That's not being talked about. The eggs,
Hey, John. So
Jerry.
size of our economy takes a little while to turn around. He's been knocking off of the debt $1 billion a day, $1 billion a day. Your Federal Reserve did not give him what he asked for, which is a reduction in interest rates that would bring the prices down for all of us. He's fighting everybody. The villains that were in charge, they don't want to die. They're like, survival's the strongest instinct. And as he's trying to save us money, they're going, no, 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 we don't like us. Don't save us money. The Federal Reserve, instead of lowering interest rates, is saying, no, we're going to keep them high. We're going to keep them high. So he's fighting massive forces. I'll remind you, he's been in there for about 32 days. He's moved more swiftly than any president in history. And what would I rather have? Lower gas prices or Transgender Sports? I'd rather have lower gas
Brian,
prices,
just so I'm
better
clear,
grocery prices. Of
Ju-
course,
but
that's the
Brian,
most
No, no,
important thing.
Jerry, he's answering that question. He's
But
answering that question.
of course, that's the most important thing. It affects the largest group of people, and people have been struggling with this economy that we got from this dodo bird, Biden, and his accomplice, Kamala Harris. And I got to tell you, he's turning things around. This guy Trump. He put a
okay.
black FBI head in there, right?
No, Cash
African
Patel is
American.
Indian.
Oh
He's
wait,
Indian.
now I
Cash
just
Patel.
wait. Whoa, whoa,
He's
whoa,
not
whoa, whoa,
black.
whoa,
Let's
whoa,
not
whoa,
do
whoa.
that.
Wait. Is Kamala? I thought Kamala Harris was black. I thought Kamala was
Boy,
black. How come
Brian
Patel?
Benstock.
God.
Brian
How come
Benstock.
Patel's
You're
an
reaching.
Indian and
Now we're talking
Kamala's
about Cash
black?
Patel. We're talking about this, and Grant got cucumbers up there.
Wait,
There
wait,
you
wait.
go.
No,
Grant
but
got cucumbers
hey, Grant,
Wrapped in a condom.
answer me this: if Kamala Harris is
wrapped in a
black,
condom.
if Kamala Harris is black, then Cash Patel is black.
Move that plastic thing off your camera, Grant. You got your plastic, whatever
Your
that is.
bread.
Yeah. Come on, Grant. Get it
I
together,
mean,
bro.
Trump put a black FBI director in.
No, he
Where's
did
his
not.
credit? Where's
As
his
an
credit for
Asian,
that?
he's Asian
Because
American.
you were trying to sell us on this Kamala being black.
Dan Bongino is the deputy now. You know that, right?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. That was today.
Bang, bang.
Bam, bam.
So, Grant,
Competence and a voice.
Look, Donald Trump has gotten more done in 32 days than the entire California in 45 days can't even pick up the damage. And look how much Donald's done. This is the fastest cabinet confirmations in history.
Grant,
is it is it
he
is it the
settled
best
up with all the
cabinets though?
people.
Confronting,
All
Is
the
it the most
people
confronting
he
some
effective?
of
said
the
he settled up
biggest
with already.
confronting some of the biggest problems that we have in this country, many of which, by the way, were not run on directly, like the IRS. Because they're going to gut the IRS. They're going to go audit Fort Knox. Can you guys imagine that? How can you be against auditing Fort Knox?
How can you be for gutting the IRS?
Oh, God damn, bro.
Well,
I
I
don't
pay
think
taxes.
anybody's against that.
Yeah, well, Bing hasn't paid taxes in
No,
20
no,
years.
bro. No, actually, what I'm saying is this right here. We need revenue. Okay, we need
They don't do
revenue,
withholding at Chatter.
bro. We once again we need revenue, and so you're breaking
Yeah.
everything. Everything's being broken. That's
Revenue's
fine.
not the
Do you know
problem. It's
how
the
to get
spending.
revenue, bro?
Of course, what do you? We have to collect taxes. We're selling arms. We're doing all that.
Collect taxes. That's all you have to do. Collect taxes from the sale of goods and services. Build things in America.
Yeah. So guys,
You can
listen.
literally replace the entire collections by returning 100% of the money back to Jerry, back to Jonathan, back to Grant, back to everybody in the room, Yvonne, back to credit. Give Divine his money back. Jerry gets a check for 100 grand. He keeps all of it. What is Jerry going to do now? Jerry's going to go out and spend money. You would collect federal taxes. You would collect federal taxes when people purchase goods and services. Okay, right now you're taxing everybody for everything. If I work, I get taxed. If I buy property, I get taxed. If I spend money, I get taxed. And then on top of all these, if I die, I get taxed. If I give the money away, I get taxed. Then all the rich guys end up with all these programs that they can work not to pay taxes. Google, Facebook, Jeff Bezos, Grant Cardone, all these guys know how to work systems where I actually avoid any kind of tax bill because I put all these structures together. We would wipe all that out. No, everybody would pay taxes based on what they buy, period, except the first $30,000 that you spend a year, basic cost of living wherever you are, would be given a credit so that poor people are not paying any taxes. And they would get a credit. Older retired people that aren't spending a bunch of money and don't have a bunch of income would pay. They would pay it. They would pay taxes when they purchase, but everybody would get a credit at the beginning of the year. There would be no more withholding on your 2-week paycheck. That means for 51 weeks of the year, you would have your money invested and you would make a check. You would pay. You would not even have a April 15th payment. You would simply not even have a farm anymore. You don't even need a farm.
Yeah, but
Wait,
Grant,
wait,
that's
wait,
going to
wait, wait, one
quadruple the
second.
And last
price
thing I
of
just want
goods
to
and
say, the last
services.
thing I want to say, and this is the cool part, you would now have anonymity from the government because the government would not, you would not need a department any longer to know what Brian paid me this year because you would only collect taxes when I spend money.
That's going to quadruple the prices of goods and
No,
services, Grant.
no, it's not.
Everybody,
No, it's not.
if
It's
everybody has
actually,
money,
Let him elaborate. I just want to hear what he say. Let's get his perspective. Go ahead, bro.
yeah,
Go ahead, bro.
if everybody has money, then money ain't worth nothing. you say,
Oh,
oh,
so you
we're
don't
only
want your
gonna pay
people to have
taxes on the
money?
things we buy. A house, that means a house is gonna be $3 million, $4 million for a regular one family. I
No,
mean,
it's
that means
not.
a car is gonna be a cheap car that right now somebody could afford a $50,000, $60,000 car is gonna be $200,000. I
No.
mean, I just don't
Why do you
see.
say that, Demond?
So tell me, what is going to be the cost of
Why
goods
do
and
you say that?
services under your
Hey,
plan?
Demond,
Yeah. What makes you say that that's gonna? What will
hang
make
on,
that
Jerry.
happen?
Jerry, I'll tell him why. Okay. See, you don't understand, bro. If nobody paid taxes on the income, the 55 people that built every car in America, let's say it took 55 people to build a Honda Accord. They didn't pay taxes on their income, so the manufacturer can now build the car for less. The car only collects taxes not when it's built, but when it's sold and the person is buying that car. You literally have about, in every product in America, about 23 to 25% of the build of every product in the world is the cost of taxes collected along the way. The manufacturer, the shipper, the engineer, everybody that collected money along the way paid taxes. Businesses don't pay taxes. No business pays taxes. It's
Okay.
always passed on to the consumer.
Grant, I'm gonna tell you the problem with your thing. Schools, okay, not just schools, trash pickup, all those local services, okay, that gets taxes from the local, because right now you're talking about federal. There's state taxes, there's local taxes, and everything else. So when you're saying that, it
You're still
just doesn't make
collecting tax.
sense.
You're still collecting taxes.
Yeah, it's all going to the federal government.
Okay. Look up the GDP. Look up how much money the American consumer spends every year.
What about local taxes?
Total purchase of new products in America, then multiply times 23%. And that is how you fund everything going on. So the
So
poor don't have to pay.
you're talking about a quarter. You're now everything that costs $10,000 now costs 12.5.
No, everything would be inclusive. It's an inclusive tax. It's not an added tax. It's
What do you
built
mean?
in. It's built into the sale of the product. So when you go
Yeah,
buy
it's
your Honda,
what do you tell me?
your
It's built
Honda,
into the
if
sale
the
of the
Honda's
product.
$58,000, by the way, and if the Honda was built, Brian can tell you, he doesn't make a lot of money on a Honda. If he's selling a $50,000 car, they're probably making what, Brian? 2,500 bucks, 2,000,
No,
1,500?
no, they're making about 6, 7 grand off that.
No, they're not,
Yeah, they are.
Brian.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not, bro. I was in the car business for 20
I was in the
years.
car business too. We talking about $50,000 car.
No,
Okay.
ain't nobody in the country. I mean, until you get into the European cars, nothing at 50 grand is making $6,000.
Yeah, it is, Grant. With hold
Get
back,
get Ben Stock back in here right
Grant
now.
would hold back, Grant would hold back. It is okay. And
No,
right
no,
now,
no. Most of these, it's not
Grant would
true,
hold
Jonathan.
back. It is.
It's not true. Nobody has a $6,000 markup on
Grant, right
a car.
now, when
Just
cars being sold the way they
Ben
were sold,
Stock.
being sold before. Grant, Ben Stock, I'll get Ben Stock back, but he's gonna probably lie for you. But all we have to do is look up an invoice. All these invoices are online.
Someone in the chat said that would drive costs up. Not to mention the cost of labor increasing does not fare well for the businessman. Okay, Grant, what do you think about transgender in sports, though, bro? The title of the room. What do you think about that? Is he frozen? He's frozen.
Now he's trying to.
Okay.
I'm trying to get Ben Stock in here because I don't want to speak out of turn if I'm not right, but I don't think I'm not right. I want Brian to tell us because we brought up a Honda, and Jonathan having him give it information about a
D,
Honda would be like me asking about hair extensions.
one second, John. Hey, Dskins, you're asking to speak. Go ahead, bro. If you're on the stage, you can speak.
And regarding the transgender,
Wait 1 second, John. 1 second, Grant. Dskins, if you're on the stage, jump in, bro. You're asking to speak.
Jerry, why isn't that camera a little closer to you, Jerry? I like to see a little
I'm
tight up
here.
of you.
Okay, go ahead, Dskins. You're up next, brother.
Can
What's
you
up,
get the camera
Jerry?
a little tighter,
What's
please,
up,
Jerry?
Jonathan? How y'all doing?
I got you. I got you. Go ahead, bro.
Get a little tighter, Jerry.
I
Um,
got you.
I want to see
so
more of you.
Gotcha. Go ahead,
so
Dskins.
And then,
so
Jonathan, you need to kind of drop your frame because you're not framed. You're black midget.
so I'm gonna speak from my experiences.
You see that, Grant?
I'm a college athlete. I was a college hockey athlete,
Okay.
and when I was thinking about this topic, um,
Who is this
I
guy, Jerry?
I
Hey,
feel
hey, Grant. Kate in the chat said, "Can we put a muzzle on Grant?" So Grant, let's act like we got to
Bro,
make.
I just gave you guys enough to talk about.
go, go ahead, Dskins. Don't go ahead, Dskins. Don't do
all
that,
right.
guys. Hey, guys, don't mute Grant. Do not mute Grant. Go ahead, Dskins. Grant, you're
So
muted. You're muted, Grant.
I can't believe you
so
guys don't want to talk about a topic that would actually benefit the people in this room.
You're right, but right now, Grant, there's some people that also want to speak. So we're gonna go to Dskins.
Get
Dskins,
it a
go.
little tighter, Jerry. Get it a little tighter. I need to see a little tighter shot of
I'm
it.
trying to speak.
This
And then Jonathan, you got to go up. You got to go up.
Dskins, jump in, bro.
All right. So basically, here I'm saying it's gonna be. I don't agree with men playing women's sports at all
Okay.
because it's gonna be an issue from a physical
Because
step.
you don't want to be embarrassed.
And it's not about that. If from certain sports, it's a physical aspect. Like contact sports, it will be hard for them to play and stuff, and it'll cause more problems and in the future, like 5 years from now, basically. So that's what I'm saying. But and it's a
Jerry, he's
safety.
saying he doesn't want to play in women's sports because he don't want to be embarrassed by a woman.
I'm not saying that, Grant.
What are you
Hey,
saying?
hey. Let me
I must
explain.
have misunderstood you then.
Hey, Dskins, go ahead.
Jonathan, sit up, Jonathan.
Dskins, you have permission to chop his head off for what he just said to you, bro. Because I'm offended for you based off of what he just said. I'm offended.
Jerry, why are you trying to start some shit,
I
Jerry?
I'm
mean,
not. No, Grant. I'm gonna be honest with you. As a man,
Jerry,
I think I think
how big
that's
are your strawberries, Jerry?
I mean,
Dskins.
so yeah, like
Wait. Dskins, are you offended the way he just came at you, though, bro? Be honest.
I
A little.
mean, I heard worse. So I'm a
Dude,
hockey
I
player.
wasn't coming at you, bro.
I play hockey. I heard worse.
Okay, but go ahead, Dskins. Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
so like I was saying though, it's gonna be an issue if transgender men plays women's sports.
I think
It,
Grant agrees with that. Okay.
so if they dominate and stuff. So like for example, that swimmer, I don't know the swimmer's name. He didn't rank at all swimming with the men. Then he transitioned to a woman,
And he
and,
dominated.
and he dominated. It just gonna cause more issues arise. That's all I'm gonna say. And I
Okay.
land right there.
What kind of issues? What kind of issues are going to arise?
I mean that a non-woman a non-birth woman is playing a man's is playing a woman's sport.
So you think a man can become a woman?
I mean that's their right.
No, no.
What?
Well, so you
If a
think
Hey,
a
hey,
man
hey,
can
hey,
become a woman?
Tina. I hope you don't mind me reading your message. Grant is such an ass, 100%. Okay, appreciate you, Tina.
Man,
Come to the stage if you'd
I
like
get
to,
no
Tina.
love here, man. I don't know what the
No,
deal is.
Grant. You know what, Grant? I'm gonna tell you something. Shout out to Jonathan Bing. It's an incredible room. He does a great job 7 days a week. I don't know why Grant comes
What
in
did I
here.
do to offend so many people in this room?
I don't know why you come in here and just act such an ass with Jonathan and his people. I agree with Tina.
What is that? So anyway, D-scan. So what are you saying? And essentially, so you don't agree with it, correct?
Yeah, I don't agree with it.
All right. All right,
Okay,
and that's
go ahead.
but you agree with women being able to participate in men's sports, correct?
I mean, uh, yes, under yes, if they want to, yes, like not professionally though, but like at certain levels, yes.
Isn't
There's
that bias? Isn't that
it's
bias?
not
Thank you, Robbie. Thank you, Robbie.
it's I tell you like, it's different. Like it's different for like a how I'm not I'm sorry for being ignorant and stuff about vocabulary, but it's if a woman wants to play men's sports,
Jonathan, can you clean your glasses?
Somebody
if
put that in the chat. Somebody put that in the chat, Jonathan.
if a woman wants to play sports, that's and stuff. If they could compete, that's cool. But like if a man playing a woman's sport, it's
And
different.
Jonathan, pat your head off too. Get some powder on your head because
Okay,
it's
get out of
flying
here.
out.
I
Get
can't
him out of
stand his
here.
ass.
So wait a
Get him
minute.
out of here.
Put
Go
some
ahead.
powder on your head. Go ahead.
Okay, guys. Can Okay, guys. Hey, so you're okay with a woman playing in men's sport, but you don't want a man playing in women's sport. You're okay with the opposite of okay, I got you.
Yeah,
Okay, and that's where it gets a little tricky, guys. First of all,
it's certain sport. It's certain sports.
Who's that laugh? Let the laugh jump in. Let
Yeah,
the
these skins, you should have left that one
bro. Come on, man.
No, it's not that. It's certain sports. By
Who's
Now,
the
who's
that
way,
that
laugh? I
laughing?
want that laugh to jump in.
That's
No, no,
Linda.
no, Jerry,
That's
Jerry, we need to
Linda,
know who
bro.
that is because we want to make sure it's not a troll.
That's
wait,
Linda.
Linda. Hop in, Linda.
Is that Jeremy?
Linda. Hop in, Linda. Back to you, Dskins.
yeah, I'm just saying it's certain sports. It's based off the sport, basically. That's all I gotta say.
Okay.
Well, Marty, you want to jump in? You said a lot about this early on. Let's do it, Marty.
Oh man, you know where I stand. At the end of the day, men should not be playing with women in sports. I think most of the people in this room have pretty much agreed on that. At the end of the day, yeah, in school, what elementary school and like recess and PE class, yeah, boys and girls play together. But when you get into college, when you get into high school, when bodies start developing, men are naturally stronger than women. This is something we all know. No need to get into that. So in the conversation of playing in sports where they can be injured, where they can be taken advantage of, where they can be let into spaces that are private to women, I 100% don't agree with it. So yeah, that's just where I stand. Nothing against transgender folks at all. Nothing against them, not one bit. But in
But
regards to a natural born male playing with natural born women in sports, I'm not agreeing with it.
yeah, why is this? Why, Marty? Why is this the an issue that you guys are fighting about? Why? I mean, when you look at the numbers that's involved here, we got, I don't know, what, 6 cases a year, if that, if not even happening. I don't know. I don't have the numbers. I just put
Hmm.
that out there just for transparency. But
Yeah,
what I'm saying is, there's not many cases a year
for
where
sure.
this is taking place. So why has this become something that they're going to deal with prior to dealing with the food prices and gasoline prices?
Well, you know what? That's where I'll agree with you. In regards to it becoming first, I don't see why it came first. I don't see it as something that should be a lengthy process either. So it should be something that we could easily get off the table and keep it pushing. In regards to them not being able to play with women in sports, but no, I don't think it should have came before.
So,
As an
someone has
echo,
open mic.
that's Trish.
Like, to put it down.
Hey, Jonathan. Weren't they making a move with
But
the? Go ahead. I didn't know if you land. Go ahead. Go ahead,
oh no,
bro.
my bad, bro. But yeah, no, JB. Like I said, JB, nothing against them at all. But in regards to so when you say yes, there haven't been it's not like it's been an extreme amount of cases, but
So
yes,
why are
it's
we talking
happened,
about it? Why,
right?
why is it so important?
Why is it so important? Well,
Yes.
the reason I personally do feel like it is so important, it is important, is because this is something that right now we're looking at it as so minute. But like I stated earlier, you look at this, you
You know
open
what,
the doors
Marty?
today. Hold on,
I'm sorry, Marty.
let me finish.
The way you answer, you like the reason it's so important is because I think it's so minute. Like, it's trying to give you time, yourself time to think of an
Hear me out,
answer.
bro. Hear me out. No. Let me speak, bro.
But go ahead.
Let me say what I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, right now, 5 years down the line, you open this gate and you say, you know what? Men can play, transgender men can play in women's sports. They can, use their bathrooms, be in their spaces, whatever the case. Let's just use theirs because if they're in their sports, they're going to be in the same places, right? What do you think that's going to look like in 5 years? What does that look like in 10 years, right? We know we're not genetically made the same, created the same. So all those young girls that, what I'm saying, like I'm saying, in 10 years, 5 years, I'm like, once again, I'm not putting anything down on transgender folks, but the fact that a man is naturally stronger than a woman, you have that now dominance. So now you are taking away some spaces for some women who maybe can have that spot, but because this man has now been able to take this place and he is naturally stronger, guess what? I'm not saying that's gonna completely, it's gonna become, but I'm just saying, bro, we looking at it right now, but nobody's willing to look further on. We're not looking 20 years down the line what this may look like.
You
And
know.
that's all I'm saying.
You know what I
Well said.
what you know what I noticed though, Jonathan? If you look at the fastest 40 or the fastest 100 in the Olympics with a man versus a woman, it's a big difference. So it seems like because 1 second is a huge difference, but it seems like they are doing it almost for an advantage. Like I'm going to jump in this one with this
Thank
particular,
you.
and so because
Interesting. Interesting.
yeah, so I don't think I don't feel that people are saying it because anything to do with trans or whatever. I think they're talking about. So you got a 5-year-old little girl and she's going to, to the YMCA, and she's going to middle school. She got a coach. She's working her butt off, and she's doing good in the country against all the natural women. Remember, Hussein Bolt. There's no woman. You know what I'm saying? There'll be no contest. So I think that's what it is. The girl gets older. She goes to college. She's number one in the country until Troy pulls up. Troy's now named Tina. And so, it just changed the whole, the whole scenario. So I think it's the fairness, Jonathan. I think that's what it is, brother.
Anyone
Isn't
want to
it?
respond?
I wanted to.
It's
Yeah,
OG James.
One thing I want to make.
yeah,
I want
this
to
is
make sure
Luis.
someone want to respond to Jerry. Anyone that wants to respond to Jerry, go ahead. Like
I
I
do.
don't.
Go ahead. You
Because
go.
I have a different perspective. I have a
Well,
perspective.
let's see what.
Makeda, I think Makeda and OG James. Let's do it.
Go ahead, OG.
Well, what I was saying was not necessarily a response to what he was saying. It's just that when they're trying to enforce this bill and this ban, there were things that come out of this that put us really on a slippery slope here. And one of those is instituting gender testing. It's something that was already done before, and it's stopped in some places, but now it's actually a part of the bill. And that gender testing can be like, let's see your birth certificate, but it can also be a visual gender test. Please listen to the words I'm saying. Visual gender test. It
Okay.
can be done by male or female, and it could be at any given time. So I have a daughter in gymnastics, and if she's subject to gender testing, then I don't. That's not fair. It's not safe to women either. So my concern is, what does this open the door to when we're trying to enforce these things?
That's what she's saying is a completely different scenario, and I agree with you with that. You don't want your daughter being gender tested just because of a couple other people that's trying to get an advantage. But I agree with that. So I don't have an answer for that one. But they
I
need
will
to.
say to that specifically. Now, I do believe it's generally across the board with majority of sports as they start to get older in sports and stuff like that. As they do physicals, that is, I mean, when they go do their physical, there are things that the doctor looks at which would technically almost practically confirm their gender. So that's why I just want to say that's almost already done. I'm not speaking to
Yeah.
the gender testing you're speaking of, but that's kind of already done when they go to
Right.
get their physicals to even
Right.
be able to play certain sports.
And
No, but
and
this,
Sorry,
but
this is
these
Luis.
gender
wait,
tests,
I
these
got you.
gender tests are not done by doctors. If
But
you
but
look it up, it's not done by. I posted an article in the chat earlier. They're not done by doctors. They could be done by coaches and other officials or people related to the particular sport
well, let's say
at
this,
any given
Makita.
time.
Makita, I'm sure mothers like you won't let that happen. So I think that right there is a situation that just won't go down that way. But just like they test people for drugs at any given moment, because people, for steroids, they do, John. That's a big deal in sports. Yeah,
Okay.
synthetic drugs or whatever. So yeah, but I agree with you said, Makita. But there was
Yeah,
a
but there's a
th-
woman. There's a woman that was tested. Okay, and she's a real woman. And when they tested her, they said her testosterone was too high. Okay, natural. All right, and so once again, there's a slippery slope. So when you guys are saying what you're saying, it's just a very slippery slope there.
it is
Uh,
that has to be dealt with though, because people are going to be trying to get an advantage. I mean, imagine somebody wins a
eh,
gold medal.
But you're disregarding the fact that I said visual. I said
yeah,
visual.
No, no,
visual.
I'm not.
I
I'm not
agreed. No, I
saying.
agreed. No, Makita, I agreed with you. I didn't.
Okay. I just don't want you to disregard it either though,
No,
because either way, if we're gonna have this conversation, it can't just be should they be allowed or should they not be allowed.
Exactly.
We have to look at all the things that come with this. Because now that there's a bill, this is attached to the bill. This is gonna be a requirement of the bill to not allow them to play. This is attached, which means women can be harmed in this way as well. So I mean, as a part of this conversation, we do have to look at the pros and the cons of both sides.
and but we are. That's why you're pointing it out, and I'm agreeing with you. Just so you know, I'm agreeing with you 100%. I would not want my daughter being looked at by some man. Actually, I wouldn't want my daughter being looked at by a woman, by anybody. Let me test, make sure you're a woman for the sport. So I 100% agree with you. So let's keep what you're saying in the conversation. But let me go to OG. I can't remember the other part of your
So
name.
James,
And then 1 second. Then Luis, you up next. But OG, James, go ahead, bro.
It looks like I'm in the matrix.
It don't
No,
sound
go.
like it.
You're good. You're good. Go, let's go.
Okay, so what I'm wondering is Title IX, gender
Title
equity in
nine.
sports. How does have they addressed how they're going to deal with Title IX in trying to develop this new legislation? It was designed to protect women and their ability to compete in sports, and so therefore, doesn't this actually go against Title IX?
Okay, I'm not familiar with Title IX, but if Jonathan or if somebody could, for those of us that's not familiar with Title IX, you want to speak on it briefly, Mr. Bing, if you know what it is?
Yeah, Title IX is put out there because a lot of women, in terms of sports, it was to create equity with women in sports. All right, and I think it's yeah, a lot of people claim that it hurt a lot of different things, but I believe it helped a lot. But once again, what OG is saying is, when this right here, OG, this goes against Title IX. Wouldn't you say so?
I think it does. I think it does. And I think that women in sports have been so maligned, especially like when because I used to coach women's basketball, girls, high school, and women's college. And how the women are looked at and the expectation that they're going to be lesbian or whatever it is or whatever that takes away from the fact that basketball is basketball. And I want my daughter to be able to compete as equally as my son, but I don't want my son playing against women in an organized fashion. So, and Title IX supports that. It supports. Uh, it's a civil rights type of legislation because it also supports why schools can't make take all the money that they made on football and only use it on football. They have to use it across the board with regards to all
Okay.
athletics.
Let me go to Luis and appreciate you for that input. And then Luis, I'm gonna go to you, and then I want to ask Makeda and maybe OG and even Jonathan. Is there a way to kind of like, bridge the gap and figure it out where it doesn't affect, anybody or hurt anybody? Mr. Lewis Estrella, how you
Yes,
doing, bro?
sir. Yes, sir. I'm doing good, bro.
The
Can you
mic
hear me okay?
the mic is yours.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna keep mine short and sweet to the point. I'm gonna go to the words of Martin Luther King Jr. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere,
Mm,
right? And we don't get to pick and choose when the injustices happen. An injustice is an injustice, right?
mm-hmm.
So when we see biological men, naturally born biological men, change over or attempt to change over and claim that they're women and then brutally beat a woman's face in MMA, that's a problem, right? To anybody who is outraged while Diddy beat Cassie in a hallway, it's the same way as a man beating a woman in an octagon and claiming they're a woman,
Mm.
right? We don't get to pick and choose that because it goes to our affinity groups, okay?
Is there a way?
Man,
Go ahead,
no, go
Makeda.
Okay.
ahead, bro.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Luis, Makeda made a good point. So Makeda, is there a way to mitigate that from happening? What Luis just said, Makeda, what are your thoughts on like if are you there, Makeda?
I'm here. What's your
Okay,
question?
my question is, how can this be solved where it doesn't uh, infringe on the way you were saying that the bill is set up for right now? How can it be solved where men can't just sneak in on the field or sneak in like Luis is saying in the octagon? What do you think can be done to make it work? If you could design it, how would you say?
If I'm honest, I'd have to give it more thought and I'd have to do more research. And the reason why is because I don't have all the details.
That's fair.
I just know what I know. And I do think that as laws and bills, bans, as they're being put in place, things need to be considered about kind of what Marty was saying, what's going to happen in 5 years? Because we're looking at how this affects people now. But just because you ban something and you put it in place and you think you have control over it doesn't mean it won't change in 3 months,
Right.
6 months, a year. And for me personally, the issue is if we're going to try to protect women, we can't institute something that then also harms women. And
Okay.
so that's why I said on both sides there are issues, and I don't think some of these things are being thought through when they're being instituted. So
Yeah,
I don't
This
have an
is
answer as to how
Okay,
to fix it.
this is not deep.
Makita.
This
so
is
this
not
is
Well,
no share.
difficult.
I do
that's
It's
TC.
not
agree with
no
That's
hard.
share
T.
TC
before
is
no
That's
saying.
share
one. I
no
got
share.
This
1 second.
is very
No
I'm
share before
easy
you
sorry.
jump
to
in.
answer.
No share. 1 second, TC. No share. You're next. But I got to jump in, guys, because I can't
Let
get
me
too
jump
far away
in,
from.
Jonathan, because I want
Now
to
hold on.
respond to
Wait.
her.
I can't get too far away from what Luis said. 1 second, guys. Luis came in and quoted the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King and said injustice, and whatever. Here's the thing, Luis. You used that quote wrong. Okay,
Oh, did I?
because once again, what we're saying is that the trans have rights. Now, listen to me. I'm not listening to me. I'll be the first to tell you I don't agree with I guess biological male participating in fighting women. But let me just say this right here. That woman has the right not to get in that ring, not to accept that fight.
That's
Okay?
wrong, Jonathan. Sorry.
Wait.
That's
1 second.
bullshit.
No. 1 second, bro. Here's the thing. That woman has the right not to accept that fight. She does not have to accept that fight. Okay, so that's and I'm not. And once again, I am not for biological men being able to participate in female sports. I'll tell you that. Okay, and I'm very very LGBTQ friendly. I just like one of the biggest supporters. But that I do draw the line there. But I also draw the line with us creating laws like they're trying to create. Because here's the deal. You guys are cheering on these freaking laws, all right? And when you cheer on these laws, when they do these laws, there's always something in those laws that comes back and hurt me, all right? And that's just, I'm sorry, that's the way I'm gonna put it, all right? Because when you put it out there, when you look at it, okay, these laws, and you and others, average Americans, okay, we wind up, just because we wanna fix a problem, we wind up okaying it. Okay, look what happened with the Patriot Act. We have never gotten, the Patriot Act is still here. That was there because of 9/11. Pfizer courts, that has not gone away. That has now become part of what we're doing. The 1994 crime bill, okay, that was supposed to stop the crack epidemic, put a lot of people in prison, okay, wrongfully, because they wanted to fix a problem at that moment. Now, this problem is so small and so minute. The fact that we're even talking about it tells you that the biggest scam in America is being pulled over on us again, because it doesn't, like I said, instead of us talking about food prices and gas prices, we're talking about something that affects less than 1% of 1% of 1% of our population. That's what we're talking about right now. Instead of us focusing on something that affects 80 and 90%,
I agree.
okay, of all of us, but we're focusing on this. And you
I
guys are
agree. I agree,
invested,
Hold on.
and you
Jonathan.
guys are
Hey,
saying that you guys are putting a law in place that affects less than 1% of 1% of 1% of this country, putting a law changing and ready to give up your freedoms
Wait,
just
bro.
because you
1 second,
guys
Luisa.
were freaking uh, turned into a witch
I'm
collar.
gonna
That
pass it.
you guys have been fooled. It's just ridiculous to sit here and listen to it. But I land with that.
I'm gonna
Which
go to you.
freedoms?
1 second. 1 second. I'm gonna go to Luis. One thing I gotta push back what Luis said that you framed it a little differently. He wasn't saying that woman knows she. Wait. He was saying they would know. Like there's no way they would know. That's what he was saying. Like like if a man is about to fight a woman, they wouldn't know. How would they know? But go ahead, Luis.
Yeah.
Luis.
I'm Jonathan. I like what you did there, and I can appreciate that. Right.
It's real.
I know, but you kind of did a Brian Weave thing where you piled on a bunch of things that actually doesn't correlate to this specific subject. Well, I can understand your
Luis, is that the
your
framing effect? The framing
yeah,
effect?
absolutely, it's the framing
Got you. Go
effect.
ahead,
He
bro.
he built a mansion around our tiny house just now.
Oh,
So so while I can understand the your point, Jonathan, can you explain to me in quick detail how protecting women and young women and creating laws to protect young women, such as your daughters potentially coming up in sports and being robbed of an equal playing field, right? I'm not talking a separate but equal. I'm talking about an equal playing field with other biological girls or women as they grow up. You're talking about it impacting you. No, let's talk about your daughters, right? If these rules are not set in place, and a proper structure of equality isn't set, your daughters are in danger.
Let me just say this right here. Once again, guys, there's probably what, 8, 9 cases a year that come up with that. Okay, this problem is so small, and that you guys and it has captured all of your imaginations, okay, and your efforts, all right, and time away from the executive branch to try to resolve this, when that time could be put on something that really truly affects your life. Okay, this does not affect your life. Okay, Luis, you're not dealing with this situation currently. All right, but you're dealing with higher prices for eggs. You're dealing with higher prices at the pump, and but yet you rather, come in here, and bring your Martin Luther King quoting ass in here, okay, and talk
That ain't
about
even
this shit,
fair.
Not too much,
okay, and
Luis.
okay, and not talk about
Nah,
goddamn
JB,
egg
you know
prices.
you can't roll off like that, bro, because
No,
if you're making it seem as if we're only supposed to care as to what's relevant now when you preach to us to care about what's to come later. That's what
of
you sit in
course,
here
but
Wake
and
this
it
is
say.
such a
up.
small problem, bro.
But exactly, and I even agreed with you. But when we agreed also on the point of, hey, who knows what's to come 5 years, 10 years, 15 down the line. You're sitting and hitting on today. Yes, absolutely. They make up a
Yeah.
very small population, only what less than one to
No,
one to
not
one
even
percent, like
guys.
you
We're not
keep
even talking about the
quoting.
population. We're not talking. We're talking with
Come on, man.
you just talking about that population make up less than 1% of Americans. But then how many are playing sports and how many are playing
Once
sports against
again,
other
the
Hey, I got
men
genders?
a,
that you
I got a
got
good
open
There
this
you
question.
go.
door.
Wait one
So,
second,
D
guys.
James,
Hey,
I
one
would
second.
like to
I,
respond actually.
and I'm gonna go to you 1 second to her. Diana put in the chat. I'm curious to hear from women who think it's okay for transgender women to play in women's sports. I'm really trying to understand because it never feels good to exclude people, but this seems anti-American. Go ahead. I think that was Makeda. It sounded like Makeda. I could be wrong.
It was me, but I'm not responding to the chat. I'm
Oh,
responding to
I,
Jonathan.
I
But you
know.
want somebody to respond to the chat?
No, I want you to respond. I was just in the process of reading that, but the mic is yours, Makeda.
Okay. Jonathan, I do understand your perspective. I understand what you're saying. I have found myself before in a position where in a state, I was actually a part of less than 1% of the population. And I never thought that I would find myself in that manner. Me being a Black woman, I was actually less than 1% of a population in a particular state. Okay. Sometimes we don't know what type of situations we're going to find ourselves in. And I just want to address that point right there. But at the same time, the government is not an individual person, it's a body of individuals, agencies, and collective minds coming together to solve the problems and issues and give us resolutions for the entire country. So while I do get that, you're asking why is this being made such a big deal? Why is it being so loud right now? I get that. We can't frame it like nothing else is happening at the same time that this conversation is happening. Other things are happening. It's just that right now, even in this room, we've chosen to focus on this topic at this time. So the conversation has to happen if someone spoke up or a group of people spoke up loud enough to bring it to the attention of our government and say, hey, we need help on resolving this issue as with any other issue. Now, what that resolution would be, that's what we're trying to figure out. But to sit here and say it should not be discussed at all, I'm not sure that that's right, because we all have a voice. We all, when we feel like something needs to be done, we can all call our congressman or woman and ask, hey, I need my voice to be louder. And what are you going to do to help me? And so I'm just saying, while I do understand, I don't think it's necessarily fair to say we should not be talking about it, because we should.
Makita, that's 1 second. I apologize if you think that's what I said. That's not what I said. Okay, that's not what I said at all. Okay, everyone has a voice, and that's why we're speaking about it here. We always say everyone has a voice, and we want everyone's voice to be heard. What I said is, okay, the main reason we're speaking about this is because our president called out the governor of Maine publicly, very publicly, and threateningly. Okay, just pretty much threatening the funding for the state and everything else, and actually started an investigation right away into that. Okay, acting on it right away. what I'm saying to you is a red herring. It's a red herring because the percentage, and you're talking about 1% of the pop. What I'm saying when I say is 1% of the population, what I'm saying is the trans community is less than 1% of the population in the United States. Okay, then you look at the number of trans that are at that age or whatever, but are the number of trans that's in sports, that's actively participating in sports, competing against biological people in those sports. It's even further small. It's just it's a non-issue. It's something that the states are dealing with. Okay, state laws. That's like the governor of Maine said we're going to do with the state law. Something that the states are dealing with. Something that the schools are the institutions are dealing with. Okay, it's something that the trans themselves are dealing with and say no, I'm not doing it. It's a very very small number. There are more people bitten by pit bulls every day than there are incidents of a year in our country. But what has happened is that I think the right has focused our attention on this. Okay, hell, I rather them talk about dog bites in America. Okay, because like I said, there's more dog bites in America than there's incidents of this shit happening a year. And now we're sitting here talking
So
about
why are you
this.
having a room on it?
Okay, once again, because you know why? Because our president, okay, our illustrious president decided to attack the governor of Maine because the governor of Maine said, "Hey, we're going to follow the laws." That's the best answer a governor. That's the answer he should have been proud of, and that's the answer that he should have given when it came to this. So I'm not saying disregard a population or anyone. I'm saying protect a population and let the laws apply. But let's not marginalize a whole community of people because a very very few, decided to participate in sports. Like I said, I'm not, I'm not for people participating in sports in which they're not biologically well, men participating in sports with biological women. I'm not for that. I am going to respect the laws. I'm for respecting the laws because I know that all you guys are so anxious to give up your rights. Okay, because the way that law is
TC.
crafted right now it's about passion. People are passionate and emotional about it, and they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But buried in that freaking law is going to be something that can be used against you, me, and that's all
Jonathan,
I got to
what,
say
You're
about
TC.
that.
correct. You're
what
One
correct
second,
on
one
that. And
second,
Jonathan,
at
one
the same
second,
Jonathan, I want
one
to.
time,
second, one
at the
second,
same
one second.
time, we
Wait,
both know that this is
Makeda,
really about power as well. It's not just like you're saying, and I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, the
Did someone mute her?
yes, someone did. Do you
Do
want me to
not
stop?
mute her. No, go, Makita, go.
Okay. The conversation that, like you're saying, okay, why is the attention being given to this? Is because it is a power conversation. It's less about transgender and even funding and more about instituting power and trying to see, is the state going to be more powerful? Is the federal government going to be more powerful? That's really what we're watching here. And so I do understand why you're making this point, and I appreciate you clarifying.
No, I don't understand.
TC,
I don't understand
TC,
why you're
TC,
making the point.
TC. Go ahead, you up, TC. Go.
Yeah, I don't understand why he's making the point. I don't understand why he's saying this population needs to be protected. Jonathan, you ought to be ashamed of yourself for saying this population needs to be protected. The population that needs to be protected are the population of women that's under assault. The women's sports is the population that needs to be protected, Jonathan. We're making this to be rocket science. I don't know the right answer. I don't know what's the right way to approach this. Is difficult. I don't understand. It's simple. Simple. Okay? Men do not play in women's sports. How do you determine who's a man? You look at your package. If you need somebody else to look at the package, then somebody else looks at the package. If you have a problem with somebody else looking at the package, fine. Bring the birth certificate. It's on there. Why are we
That
dealing with intellectual capture, folks? Like
it's
we
no
don't
longer
need to
simple, TC.
excuse me, Makita, please. Thank you. We don't need to create this big ginormous issue where there is none. Okay? At the end of the day, if you want to play in a sport and you are not your biological self, you don't consider yourself to be your biological self, guess what? create your own league. This is a
Mm,
free country. You have the right to do so. Compete against other trans women. But what you're
okay.
not going to
Sort of like
do,
the Negro Leagues, right? Sort of like the Negro Leagues, right?
what you're not going to do is you're not going to come on these, onto this discussion and convince everybody that you're the population that need to protect it because you're confused about your gender. That's
Hey,
not my
he got to go. Is there anybody disagrees with
Yeah,
TC?
I
I
disagree with
just
that
don't
one.
One
like the
sec,
way
one
that
sec,
Really
he.
Makeda,
disagree with that
Makeda,
Okay.
one.
Makeda,
Yeah,
Makeda,
yeah.
just Makeda, just one second. The other guy that jumped in and
It
said
was
you,
Yeah,
Jonathan.
it's
Jonathan
me.
jumped in.
Jonathan, go ahead. You disagree with him. Go ahead.
Yeah, I disagree with them because what it boils down to is there's a really bad echo. But 1% of the population still deserves to be protected. They're still Americans. They're still human beings. And we keep saying that we're protecting women. That's great. But who's protecting the transgender people? Who's protecting them? Because it's injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And that is injustice for a small portion of our population, but still a portion of our population.
No, they need
Uh,
mental health. They don't need protection. They
And
need
they
mental
seem to be
health.
protecting
wait.
themselves
Okay,
pretty well.
one second, everybody. Do me a favor. While two people are going back and forth, please, whoever's jumping in, let them go. Right now, it's TC and Jonathan having the conversation. Go ahead, TC.
The greatest protection for somebody that's struggling with mental health issues is a mental health professional. It's not debate stages to discuss whether or not they should be competing in men and women's sports. And here's another thing. If you poll the trans community, you'll be surprised to learn that a large majority of them, if not a majority, a large percentage of them actually agree that transgender should not be competing against women in women's sports. But you wouldn't know that, would you? Because you're so busy picking up your
That
sword and shield to
No, that
defend
wasn't my point.
transgenders.
My point is that we should be defending them as humans, not creating laws against them.
Who's taking away their humanity?
Something. This is Mariana. Thank
No,
you.
hold on, Mariana. Let him
And,
answer the question. He wants to come off with his
Makita,
chest.
hop back in if you want to, Makita, because I know you were part of it. Go ahead, TC.
No, I want to know who is depriving them of their humanity.
Are you
What
allowed to
was
do
what was the
whatever you
question?
want to do? Go ahead, Makeda, if you want to.
No,
No, no, no. I
I didn't
want
hear
the
his
big boy.
question.
I
What was the
want the big
question?
boy to
No,
answer. I don't want to
go ahead,
step for a
Jonathan.
woman. I
Jonathan.
want the guy that came off with his big chest
Yeah,
and tried to be the
okay.
defender of transgenders because they deserve a defense. They're humans too. Who's
They
depriving them
are.
of their humanity?
Okay, go ahead, bro. Go ahead,
Oh, they
Jonathan.
This
are human too. They
conversation,
are. What the fuck you mean? They are humans.
No, 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 Jonathan, don't come and save him.
this
Like, why does everybody
conversation,
got
this
to save the
Let
conversation
him
simp?
is
go,
not,
Jonathan. Let
This
the other
isn't
Jonathan
save the
go
simp.
ahead, John. Okay,
no, it's
TC,
Let
fine.
let
him
This
answer the question.
conversation
He
is
came after
ridiculous.
me. Let him answer the question, Jonathan.
he got it. Go. He's listening. Go ahead, Jonathan.
TC, this conversation is ridiculous. This conversation is about not allowing them to do something that they would like to do. That's taking
Who
away their
told you
rights.
they would like to do this?
The ones that want to play in sports
Name
clearly want
them.
to play in sports.
Name them.
Sir, Jonathan, sir,
Okay.
I want to play in high school sports and I'm 38 years old. Do I have the right to play in high school
Oh
sports,
God, we're
sir?
gonna keep doing this. Never mind. I'm
This is
not.
Please,
what
sir.
happens
Well, I
when you
wasn't having
try
this
and
It's
take up a
my
conversation
life
because
position that you
goal.
no
don't
matter
have a clue
what,
what
Do
you're
not
talking
people are
deprive
about.
gonna
me.
come up with stupid
Guys.
ideas.
One at a time. One at a time. It's okay.
This is what happens when you try and take up a position you don't have a clue what you're talking about. You're trying to defend the defenseless, and you can't. You know why? Because people won't stand for it, bro. Like we're logical, rational, reasoning beings. When
Okay.
somebody says, "I'm a man," I get to play against women because today I woke up this morning, I feel like I'm a woman. So, oh, you're gonna defend me for playing against women? Not because you're gonna run into me, and I'm gonna stop you because it's stupid.
Jonathan.
TC, the only thing I wanted to
I
say
just
to
have to
you
say something.
was just that you made it seem like it was simple. And we're past the point of simplicity because these are bills. And like Jonathan was saying, there are things that are attached to them. And whether we are letting it happen or not, these things they're no longer as simple as just saying they can't do it. Because even in the bill that says they're not going to allow it to happen, now we have things that make harmful situations for women. You said bring the birth certificate. I don't know if you know, but birth certificates are being changed today, where if someone or was born a woman, their birth certificate may not say that, and vice versa. So now they're instituting other things. And that's why I brought up visual testing, because visual testing means someone walks in the room and says, I need to test these individuals and find out if they are male or female. And we would like to see the parts to find out. So we're past the part of simplicity.
But that
And,
probably won't
I'm
work
not
either.
I am not supporting them being in the sports. I am saying we can't have the conversation any longer like it's simple. It's not.
Sorry, Makeda, you
Okay.
can't change an original birth certificate. All right,
That is not true,
it's
sir.
you
I'm
That's not
cannot
telling you
true.
change an
because I
That's not
original
know
true.
birth
it's not
certificate.
true.
You
The birth
cannot
certificates,
change an original birth. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying update a birth certificate. I said you cannot change an original birth certificate. It
What
is of
about
record with the
there
state.
are
TC.
you're not accurately informed.
Yeah.
There are birth certificates that were not changed that are now being changed and have been changed
Do you know what I mean
because
when I
of
say an
the
original birth certificate? Do you understand what I'm
you're
saying?
trying to use semantics here, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
tell
yeah.
you
That's
that
Yeah,
things are
I'm not
happening in our
because I'm
world
not
that
playing
go
your
beyond
game.
the
I'm
language
not
that you're.
playing your
It's not
game.
a
You
game.
you
I
you
never
can.
said I didn't
It's
agree with
recorded.
what you're
Hold on,
saying
hold on, hold on.
about. I never
When a
That's
said I
birth
because
did not
TC is
certificate,
agree.
stupid.
I never
when a
said I
birth
didn't
certificate
agree.
is
What I did
created,
say
it's
is it's
registered
not
with the
as
state.
simple as you are saying it is. And if we're going to have the conversation, we must have it logically as adults that understand what's going on instead of just taking jabs at one another like this is not important. This
No,
is
it's not a
important.
jab. It's a very logical position that you cannot change an original birth certificate. When a birth certificate is created, when a baby is born, that certificate is filed. You can't change that filing. You can update it. Yeah, sure, you could update it. But what I said was all the people need to do is check in and check the original birth certificate. And you could tell on that original birth certificate what their assignment was at birth, if you want to call it that.
We just had an issue with President Obama's birth certificate and them trying to figure out if it
Who
was
the
an
fuck had an
original or
issue?
not.
Who
It
had an
is
issue?
not. You need to go do some research. It's not as simple as you're
Who
saying
had
it
an
is.
issue?
You said you did not say originally bring in the original birth certificate. You said bring in the birth
The
certificate.
original
And when
birth
they say things
certificate.
like that, people are going to bring in the birth certificate that they have a copy of, and it may not
No,
be
I
what
didn't
it
say that.
was when the
I
child was
said bring
born.
in the original birth certificate. I want to see the original record of the birth certificate. It has a date on it and everything. If you update that birth certificate, it's going to have an updated date on it.
can it be forged, TC?
About that, I'm
No,
talking about what the
no, no,
the
TC.
organization checks
No,
with
no,
the state.
TC. No, no one. Not too many people have a quote unquote original birth certificates. A lot of people lose that, and they have to go and get
Exactly.
it. So
Did, did you?
that's
You guys
crazy.
are missing what I'm saying. I didn't
No, we're
say
not.
you bring in the birth certificate. I said check the original birth certificate. You could do that through the state. You can
You
file
Okay.
a
got
request
children?
through
Do
the
you
Not
have
if it's
state.
children,
redacted.
TC?
No, no, no. They have sealed files, TC. They have sealed files, bro. You don't lost your mind.
No, you guys are trying to twist yourselves in pretzels to give me this random ass excuse for
You,
why the
Do you
organization
have
cannot
children, TC?
identify
Do you have
the birth
children?
certificate. No,
Do
no,
you
no.
have children?
I'm not playing
Because
this
if
game
you
with you
do, then
guys.
you know the process of enrolling them in school, enrolling them in sports, keeping tabs on all the documentation, what happens if you lose it. There's a process for all these things.
Great.
This is
It's needed.
if you have children, then you know.
It's needed. Guess what? If you're telling me that this issue is so complicated that the sporting organization can't file a request with the state to secure the original birth certificate, then you've got a problem because it's not that difficult. And guess what? If
And
it's
you think they're going
required
to
for
do that every time they
participation,
enroll?
if
You
you
think
if
every
it's
time that a
required,
school enrolls a student into a sport, they're going to do what you just said do
you're
every
damn
time?
skippy. You know why? You got people like Jonathan to thank because he's muddying the waters in terms of who's considered a male or female when they're playing sports.
The school
Mariana,
systems don't have time for that, okay?
Well, I certainly have time for it today. And guess what? School systems are going to have to adopt.
he said, today I got time. Okay.
Yeah, but it's just stupid. Like, why are we sitting here acting like the obvious isn't the obvious? You
If you
check
don't
your
think it's
packet.
important, I'm
You
not
check
sure
your
why you're
birth
still
certificate.
talking about it.
You
Those
check
of us
you
who think
check
it's
the birth
important are
certificate. If
talking
it's a
about it.
male, if it says M, it's a male. If it says F, it's a female. It's simple. Some things are difficult. Some
so
things are convoluted
TC, my question,
and
my
protracted and
question for
difficult
you,
to understand.
TC,
This
my
is not
question
one of
for
those
you,
issues.
TC, my question for you is: so you support this legislation, correct?
I support No men in women's
No,
sports,
the
Jonathan.
question I asked you is, do you support the legislation to make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, there is no legislation. Are you talking about proposed legislation?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You
Yes,
support
I
it.
support the proposed legislation.
Hmm, interesting.
Mariana, Mariana, are you locked and loaded? Mariana.
I'm here. I was just actually um, not going to speak anymore because I thought you guys were busy. But I just wanted to say something to TC because he said something that really just struck me. Um, First of all, I support the that community. um, and I don't agree with men's playing women's sports, obviously. But here's one thing, TC. When you say they all need mental health help, that was very mean. And I want you to check yourself, okay? Check yourself because it doesn't matter their preference, sexuality, they are human beings. And you
TC,
need to be a little more
I think she's
compassionate.
confused, Jerry.
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, TC. Okay, so check your mouth when you speak about other people's, okay? Because that was very mean and you don't and there's no reason to be mean to people, okay? You know what woke means, and Jane Fonda said it tonight was to care about the people. That's what woke means, okay? So when you the right side or whatever it is that you say that oh the woke and all that, that's what it means. When you damn care about people, that's what it means to be woke. Okay, so don't ever say that they need mental health help.
guess she
They are
told you.
human beings.
Let's
They just have a different choice and different different. They love
Lifestyle.
different. Okay, so accept it for what it is, and stop being so mean to others.
TC.
That's
She
what I wanted to say to you, and don't come back with the bullshit that you're saying.
Let me
Listen.
please jump
I
in.
don't.
This is
I don't
Nurse
one
know about
Share.
one
bullshit, but
second. One let TC let
let me
him
Nurse.
respond to her
Okay.
briefly.
go ahead,
Listen,
TC.
if somebody woke up one day, okay, if my brother, I'm black, my brother woke up one day and said, I'm white. All of a sudden, today I feel white. Guess what I would tell him?
What?
I would tell him he needs mental health help because you're not white, you're black. It's the way you were born, it's in your DNA. You can't change your race. But guess what? Because we're talking about people's genitalia and people, the way they feel about their genitalia, now all of a sudden they can't be accused of needing mental health help.
Okay.
That's not disrespectful. It's not mean. It's not mean spirited. What it is, it's just, it's facts. You can't wake up and feel like you're somebody that you're not and expect everybody else to coddle you and basically make you feel the way you think you
If
are.
you
And
if,
why?
one
Because
second.
you say so? Because you say so?
So if I woke up, if I
Is
woke
that
up
the
one day and I
answer?
said if
Is
I
that
woke
the
up one
answer,
day,
TC? Just
if
because you say so?
okay, let me
No,
ask you a
that's
question.
not the answer. I don't. Boy, I
So if I
Actually,
woke
it
up
was
one
the
day, if I
Psychiatric
woke up one morning and
Association.
I'm black, if I woke up one morning and I said I'm white, would you think I need mental health?
Put a one in the chat if
to
you agree
tell
with
me
TC. Put a two in the chat if
that
you don't.
Y'all better answer that
that's
man.
Really?
just a ridiculous example. By the way, that's a ridiculous example because no one is going to wake up and say, "Oh, today I'm black and tomorrow I'm
But
black,
they, but
I'm
they
white,
have.
and tomorrow I'm yellow or purple or whatever."
Rachelle,
That's a different story,
Why
TC.
wait,
You're just
why is it
making
different
shit up.
story? Why is it different story? I was born black, but today I think I'm white.
Nurse hair, nurse, go ahead, jump in, nurse. You've been waiting for a while.
So I will say they do need mental health assistance. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It could be gender affirming care, it could be legal stuff and everything else in a positive way to help them just stay on the track they're on. I'm not saying they need mental health because what they're thinking is wrong. They are entitled to feel however they want to feel and take that as far as they want to go.
hey
I don't have
nurse,
any problems with that.
let me build
And
with
when we
nurse.
get onto the bill, and
Okay.
it absolutely needs some amendments. Maybe they need to draft a whole new one, because the visual inspection is just absolutely absurd. People can have surgeries and a visual inspection is not going to indicate whether or
One,
not
I
they've
was.
had that.
Thank
But
you.
there are X and Y chromosomes that would indicate if someone is a man or a woman, and that can be done with a finger stick. Something that diabetics do every day. So yeah, I am in agreement with something like that. And even with that, there's going to be a gray area. There's going to be a gray area all the time for everything in life. And the gray area for here would be the hermaphrodites, which is like 4% of the population, maybe one in every 5,000 babies. So, and they'll have to deal with that on a case by case basis. But there is absolutely a simple way to indicate whether or not someone is a man or a woman when they're going to compete in these leagues. And no, I don't think that women should be playing in men's sports either. This isn't one sided for me.
Wait. What you just said sounds like it's contradictory. You just said they should be able to take that as far as they want to, is what you said.
Yeah,
But
in their
you
own
also
life. It
said that
doesn't
they
mean that
should
they get
not be
special
able to play
rules.
against the opposite. So can you bridge that gap for me, please? Because if I want to take it as far as I want to, I'm playing in women's sports. Damn it!
Yeah, but you can't.
Why can't I?
So because they're hopefully they will put something in place to prevent them.
But I thought you
They
said I could
doesn't
take
mean
it
they
as far
can't.
as you
No,
want me
that's
to
don't
take it.
twist my words. That is not what I said. They can take it as far as they want in their life. It does not mean that they get to go and do things that they are not permitted to do. If women's sports were designed for women, they need to be a woman. Point blank.
But they are a woman though.
No, they're not.
Oh, you mean to tell me
If
that
I
a
check
science?
their
Wait. Oh, you mean to
chromosomes,
tell me that
if
a
I check their
nurse?
chromosomes, they are biologically not a woman.
Wait, so it doesn't matter what change. Wait, this is a nurse, folks. This is a person that went through academic standards to achieve the level of a medical professional. You mean to tell me no matter what changes I make to my body, breast augmentation, chopping, I can't change my gender?
You can't change your chromosomes. No, I'm not aware of that.
Thank you.
Wow. Hey
I'm
guys,
done.
this is getting out there. Hey guys, real quick, man. If you're listening to us out there, whether it's Apple, iTunes, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, XM Radio, absolutely we're there as well. Spotify, guys. We do this every night, approximately 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, come join us. We're on the Chatter Social app. That's Chatter Social. You guys can download the Chatter Social app either at the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Guys, come join us. It's much funner when you're here participating. Also, guys, if you guys are in these rooms here, up top there, we have the podcast. All right. Click the link up there. If you guys aren't following that podcast, make sure you follow that podcast. Okay. Follow the podcast, download some episodes, and leave some comments. Matter of fact, download 8 or 9 episodes, man. Because we have a lot of great episodes over there. So once again, make sure you guys download those episodes. Share this with your friends. Let them know that we're here. I mean, it's very interesting. These engaging conversations that we're having, we have them all the time. Jerry, what do you think about these conversations? What do you think about the podcast? What do you think about all that other stuff?
I'm absolutely loving it, man. I'm loving. Somebody got a hot mic. Mute your mic, please. Mute your mic. I'm loving it, bro. I'm loving the growth. I'm loving the reviews on it. I'm loving the different aspects. Like I'm loving TC too. I'm hey TC.
TC's a little out there.
No. TC wasn't my guy, but he became my guy. Not because I'm necessarily agreeing with him. Well, I guess I kind of. But I'm just saying, I love how Debate the News has been just growing and growing and growing. And I love how hard you guys been pushing the podcast. So I'm looking forward to V2 and see where this is going to go. So I appreciate you, brother. But Mr. Bing, what is your thoughts on what TC just said? Because they were going back and forth. I want to hear what you got to say about that last part that TC said.
Listen, man.
Just a bunch of
Everyone.
cap.
Who's that? Grant. So
So
what I will say is this right here. You guys, everyone's rushing into legislation and rushing to give up their rights. All right. Everything doesn't have to be resolved with more legislation. All right. This administration, anything that they get pushed through, anything that this Congress and this administration push through, is not going to be good for the American people. I'm sorry. It's going to be good for the different branches of government, whether for law enforcement, it's going to be good for that. So you guys are asking this administration, a guy, okay, Donald Trump, and that put out an executive order saying that he interprets law, okay, and then he also went ahead and said, hey, all of those independent, I guess. agencies and things that Congress put in place that is supposed to be independent, they now report to me. That's the legislative branch put that in place as a failsafe. He's now grabbing that and saying they report to me and I can fire them. Okay, over here when he's talking about legislation, for the interpretation of law. That's judicial. I say this every night. So you guys are sitting there saying you want this administration, this body of Congress to decide on what extra legislation we should have. That just doesn't make sense. So no, I don't want any legislation on this at all because it's going to wind up hurting me. It's going to hurt the people that's praying for it. Sort of like the people that's writing, that's on X every day begging for their job back to them. I voted for you 3 times. That's what's going to happen. I land.
Okay.
So I'll jump in here. This is
All right,
Vishal.
bet.
Go
I'll
ahead.
jump in
Go
here,
ahead,
but I
Rashawn.
just feel like this conversation takes a level of maturity that's just not happening in this room by
What?
certain individuals,
What? Wait,
right?
wait, wait, wait. Put a name on it. Who you talking about?
You, Jerry. No, I'm joking. No,
Hey, that was a good one. Hey, you know what? Hey, Ray Sean, you see how nice I was being, right? I was like, she about to wake up the boogeyman. But go ahead, Ray Sean. Go
no,
ahead.
trying to be funny. I mean, I really am serious. I'm listening to the conversation. This is a complex issue. We're talking about it in a vacuum, and it's just more deeper than that. And I think, we could go back and forth and actually talk about this from an evidence and a logic based stance rather than our ideological positions about transgender. So, a couple of things is that it doesn't matter what we think individually. The fact of the matter is that the World Health Organization and the American Psychiatric Association does not identify that being transgender is related to a mental illness. So any one individual saying that, is just at this point nonsensical and doesn't really help the conversation to evolve. So, from that standpoint, when talking about transgender, we have to talk about this from so many different aspects versus saying, okay, I'm against it or I'm for it. It's more complex than that. We know that this is not an issue with transgender men because male sports are open and they do not have the same scrutiny as female sports. So, that's the first thing. So, we have to be able to identify that. Then the second thing is we have to be able to talk about, is this science based? What is the science behind what is the differentiation between male and female when it comes to athleticism? And at the end of the day, it's testosterone. So does that mean that prepubescent children, should they be subject to not being able to play in sports? And I think this is the conversation we have to have. And the point that I'm going to land on, because if anybody wants to engage in this in the way that I'm trying to present this, I'm willing to. But the question is that what we're not talking about is the human factor. These people exist. You guys are talking about as if transgender people don't exist, as they don't exist in the world, and it's just so easy to just say, the heck with it. And that's the problem that I'm having a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay. TC.
So,
TC. Wait, who was that? It seemed like that person really wanted to jump in. What's your
Yo, yo, he
no,
been
no,
trying
yeah,
to get in for
peace.
a minute.
Yeah, peace. I
go
agree with
peace.
everything that
Go ahead. Go
TC
ahead.
said. I'm gonna introduce myself. My name is Real Rap. All right, peace to the space. It's a great conversation. Thanks for Leslie, Real Leslie, for inviting me to the stage. And I agree with everything that TC said. And I wanted to piggyback because he asked a question that people were afraid to answer. If he woke up one morning as a black man and said, I feel like I'm white, there's a real example of that, and we all said it in the chat. Rachel Dolezal also used that tactic with her HBCU status and getting, how can I say, getting
Yup.
benefits as a white lady that cosplayed as being black until she got called out and exposed. And her parents today still say that she has mental issues and that the way she went about it is completely crazy. But I want to address the stage because the lady that was trying to check TC had no smoke. It was crickets. It was
Oh wow.
no, man. We need an answer.
Okay. Hey, what was your name again, bro? Just so I can remember you. What's your name again?
My name is Real Rap, brother. I'm from Louisiana. I'm a truck driver. I'm over here in Florida right now, and I'm loving this.
Hey, welcome to Debate the News, and we're loving that you're here. So we appreciate you. Mr. TC.
Yeah, well, 1 second, real. Is this your first time in Debate the News?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's my first. It's my first time here.
Yeah.
Great space.
Okay,
Mr.
no problem. Yeah, we yeah. Just come back, man. Come back, man. Cause I'll give you some smoke the other day. Cause I mean another day. Cause I'm gonna go easy on you today, brother.
He ain't got nothing to say to you,
I'm
bro.
here for
Don't even
all the
worry about
smoke,
it. If
brother.
he was,
bro.
if he
I'm
had
here for
something, he
all
would
the
have said
smoke,
it.
brother.
Don't
I'm
even
here
worry.
for it.
Well, let's have a showdown, Jonathan.
Nah, I don't have a shit out. Yo, now
Let's have a
he's
He
showdown.
gonna
got
have a.
nothing. He got no smoke.
No.
Here's the thing.
No, let's
No,
have a Jonathan. No,
actually,
Jonathan Bing
no,
and him
I'm here
showdown.
for it, brother.
I'm be honest with you because I don't want to call the man and basically that he really hasn't gotten out in the world because once again you guys are sitting here, you guys are checkers players, you guys aren't chess players, okay? And you of all people here, this is what I would say. You, my friend, and I'm gonna take it in real quick. You're probably you're a member of probably the most marginalized group in this country.
Oh,
Eh,
here he go.
Yep, absolutely. Here I go. Okay, here I go. But yet you're here advocating that another group of people be marginalized, and that right there doesn't sit well with me at all. Okay, my thing is, hey, I don't agree with it. I think I don't agree with it at all. But I'm not going to say, hey, legislate that. Hey, if that's the case, it's like, okay, what do? We go, we put new law in, and then Loving versus Virginia is just gone, and all that other stuff. Brown versus Water. Come on, it's crazy as hell. Okay, so I'm sitting here listening to you guys, and you guys are sitting there saying, "Oh, like I said, I don't agree with a man being in a woman's sports, but I do agree that population deserves the same respect, the same everything that everyone else deserves.
Let's
All right,
see.
because once again,
Well,
that's just me.
Well,
Period.
okay.
that's an argument that I didn't make, brother. So I stuck strictly off what TC
TC said that he
presented.
believes that the legislation should be there, and that's
I'm
what you.
talking about the part. I'm talking about the part of the argument where he said if he felt black, or if he is black, pardon me, and one day he felt white, could he just change his racial status? And there was never an answer. That's where I stop and get off the train at. So yes, I don't. I want to have a
Just
fair
go look up the
conversation, an
word
honest conversation.
transracial and you'll have your answer. Transracial. Look it up.
I want to deal with the people that had smoke for TC. I don't want to do that right now. So, brother Jonathan, this is
Yes,
the
sir.
issue, okay? Because again, the lady respectfully was having a Karen moment and telling TC what he could and could not do, and I don't respect that. I don't like Karens, okay? We're gonna have an honest, fair conversation, all right? But you're not gonna colonize the conversation either, all right? With your bullshit talking point.
Mariana.
Wait. Somebody's echo.
I'm right here.
Can everybody mute up?
Just
Did
listen.
somebody
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah,
put
you do
on
have somebody has a mic open.
somebody put on that? Yeah, somebody put on that. What you call it? They put on the cut that thing off though, Jonathan.
It's not on.
Okay, well, we good now.
So
Okay,
what is it? This is Mariana. So I was having the conversation with TC. What is it that you didn't like that I said to
He said
TC?
you had a Karen moment.
I say what I say, my dear. I told him exactly what I thought. So yes,
It was just giving.
and I
Uh
stand
huh.
by it. What was it that was
Right.
candy about it? I told him that he was disrespectful and that I didn't think that they needed mental health help. It was not a mental health issue, not at all. So what's the problem?
let him
Well,
answer.
okay, so you can't make absolute statements, all right? Are there transgenders out there that are thriving and I'm sure productive in life? Absolutely. But to say and make an absolute statement that no one needs mental health, that's where you're wrong, all right? And that's where it was giving Karen vibes, because you can't make that assessment, all right, for a large group of people, even if they only make up 1% of the population. And there
And you
absolutely
can't
are
make that
people.
assessment to
I'm
me. You
not.
can't
I'm not.
tell me that
I
either.
haven't landed my plane, ma'am. I haven't landed. Okay, I'm still on my private jet. Okay, and I'm sipping champagne. I
Okay,
didn't.
so
Nah,
go
this
ahead.
brother
Go
been here
ahead.
before. This ain't his first time.
No,
Yeah,
this is my first
exactly.
time.
Exactly. Someone landed their
No,
plane.
I,
Exactly.
I
Hey,
used to do. I used to do content.
snitches
Okay,
get stitches.
I used to do content. I don't do content anymore. I'm retired, but I still got smoke for people that make ignorant statements. Okay, so
Okay,
again, my name is.
you comment is ignorant too because you're not going to tell me what to say. I
Well, you're
say what
very
I say,
ignorant.
period. If you don't
I'm
like it, that's your
correcting what you're
problem.
saying. I
So
don't
I
like
have
it.
the
Like
right to say what I say as
you
well,
can say
just like you
you can
saying to
say
me.
what you
Okay?
want, ma'am.
No,
You
so
can
you're not
say
going to
what you
tell
want,
me that that
but
was not ignorant
I'm
from
gonna finish my
TC.
thought. You're
You
not
are
gonna
being
talk over
ignorant
me.
right now.
This isn't the slavery times, okay? I'm a free black man, and I'm gonna finish my damn point. Now,
Oh,
what I was
me
saying
too.
is this. I was say, well, I don't know if Mexico's free yet. All right, they got their freedom after we did. But anyway,
Nah, bro, hold on, bro. Hold
Well,
on, no,
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 no.
no. One mic. That's a bridge too
That's
far,
wrong.
man.
That's
That's a
wrong.
bridge too
I'm
far.
not being racist.
No,
That's
no, no,
historically
no, bro.
accurate.
No, that's a bridge too far, bro. Let's we don't do that here, and especially I wouldn't let someone do that to you. All right, wouldn't
No
let someone do
problem.
that to
All
you.
right, I apologize. I apologize.
Okay, good. Just
Let's
move on,
focus
brother.
on
He apologized.
all
Go.
right. Let's
So
focus on
Rio,
the
go ahead
point.
and land.
So to land my plane again, there are those people out there that do need mental evaluations and they need mental help and they need their mental health checked. When you made that statement, you made it as an absolute statement and it becomes hyperbolic. So you're wrong in that. And TC has about 3 wigs in his hands from that conversation. I support his.
Appreciate you, bro. And to add injury to insult, Mariana, what I said was very clear. It wasn't convoluted, and it wasn't disrespectful. If you're inside of a burning house, and I'm telling you, you're inside of a burning house, you're gonna die. I don't need you on the sidelines from across the street saying, "TC, you're being disrespectful and rude." Mariana, he's inside of a burning
Okay,
house. He's gonna
TC,
die.
you do
Okay.
not make fun of
Jonathan.
I'm
me,
sorry
okay?
you can't tone
Fuck off.
police me
You
the
do
way I'm
not make
telling
fun
this
of me.
person to get out of the
Yeah.
house. And let me explain something else to you, Mariana, since you seem to have a hard time understanding what I'm saying. I'm not disrespecting these people. They are human. Okay. They're entitled to humanity. Nobody's depriving them of their humanity, but because we live in such a hyper polarized situation with where you sit on the left, you believe any and every criticism of the way people decide to exert their identity on other people is an affront and an assault to their humanity. If everything is a crisis, then nothing's a crisis. What happens when that person is actually having someone assault his humanity? We wouldn't know it because you've been screaming wolf for the last 10 years. I'm not
What are you
interested
talking about?
in
You don't
like,
even know what you're talking about.
well, then maybe if you listen, you might understand what I'm talking about. You're giving this
I'm
type
listening
of
to you
like,
BS.
well, Mariana, listen, I can understand why you don't understand, and maybe you can get somebody to help you understand.
Oh, maybe I
But
need
but
mental
I'm
health,
I'm
don't you
trying to
think?
speak as clearly as I possibly can. This is a mental health issue. If you wake up one morning feeling that you're somebody different than you are, there's very few things that I can say to help you. That needs professional help. And what I'm saying is, this doesn't mean that that person is any less than an individual. I never said that. That doesn't mean this person doesn't get the right to go to the movies, go to the grocery store, have dinner at the, as a whoever they want to be. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the moment that your delusion infringes on my rights or my child's rights, I have to say something about it. I can't be worried about a Mariana calling me rude because of it.
So,
Does that make
TC,
sense?
very quick, let me ask you this. When did you go to medical school to diagnose people on mental health?
Did I diagnose anybody on mental health,
You are?
Mariana?
You are diagnosing a ton of people that they need mental health. So,
I don't-
when did you go to medical school that we don't know?
Do you
Tell
need
me
to go?
about.
Do
Tell
you
me
need to?
about it.
Do you need to go to medical
No,
school to
tell
have
me
common
about it.
sense?
Answer the question. When did you go to medical school to diagnose people?
Thank you, bro.
I, I can
Jonathan.
ask her
Yeah,
the
can
same
I say
question though.
something?
One,
This
I could
Please,
ask her the
chat.
This
same
is
question.
Please.
Tap.
this is like what happens when you debate with a fool and you become baffled. Like I don't.
You do not tell me a fool, okay?
Yo, somebody hit the mute all
Yeah,
button.
yeah. One
Somebody
second,
hit
one
the mute
second,
all
one
button.
second. Who hit the mute all? All right, listen to me. I all right, no problem, guys. Yeah, going forward, it's not. Sorry, it's not gonna work. You guys hitting mute all. It's not gonna work. So I'm gonna start closing these rooms earlier and redoing the stage. and I'm only going to mod like the main mod group that's in my group text because this happens over and over and over again. Go ahead, Mariana. Let's go.
Yeah, so I just want him to answer, when did he go to school to diagnose people? Because he keeps saying that they need mental health and they,
This morning, this morning,
absolutely need
I
mental
woke up
health.
this
And then you
morning.
think that I don't understand what you're saying.
And
I am
Marianne,
listening to your bullshit.
I can answer your question. This morning, I woke up and felt like I was a medical doctor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so,
Okay. So
so,
show us your degree.
When
uh,
did you go to medical school to say that they didn't need medical help?
give me a second. Let me grab a crayon
Hello.
and a piece of paper. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Exactly.
And here's the
So
Wait,
can I say?
one second. One second. One
Oh,
second.
okay.
You guys are attacking her. Okay, Jerry. I
Wait, we
mean
are
Jerry.
attacking her, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
attacking her?
One second. One second, guys. Let's. Okay, Diana, you want to talk to Mariana? Let's go.
I mean, I asked her a question. She says they don't need mental help. She says it's not a
And why
mental
do you think
illness.
they need mental health, Diana?
I mean, are you going to answer my question first? Because
No,
I'll go, but
why
then I'll
did
ask
you
you
think
multiple questions. Listen,
they need mental health?
because according to the Association of the Psychiatrists here in America, they're saying that gender dysphoria is absolutely a mental illness. Now they're saying that a person who wants to be trans is currently not needing mental care because as long as the person who's trans says that they are not feeling in distress, then being a transgender does not need mental care. It's not until that person says that they are in distress. So, my thing is, if you're so angry that you're pushing policy that literally affects women, that to me means that you are in distress. So, how is it that this got slipped through? And in my opinion, it has to do with the Olympics. It has to do with a long history of men coming and cheating in sports.
So, Diana, if you were listening to what I say in the beginning, you heard me say that I didn't agree with men playing women's
She
sports.
did say that. She
I
did say
Then
did
that.
that's a
say
full
that.
stop.
So you were not listening to me and you are accusing me of something that I did not say.
What did I accuse
Okay?
you
So
of?
listen to what I say and then you speak.
You don't even listen to
I
what you're
did not
saying.
say that. I did not say that. Okay?
can, can I
And
correct
what
you?
I say and what I was talking to TC is that he didn't have the right to say that they needed mental help. That's what I say. Okay?
That
Get
you
it
don't.
right.
Then, if
Get it
that's the
right, my
case, then
dear.
you don't have a right to say that they don't. It's that simple.
You
But
don't have the
TC
right to
doesn't
tell
have
me
the
that
right
they
to
do.
say that they do.
But
Yeah,
TC
You
Oh,
tell
has
me
the
that
right
they
to
chat,
say
do
jump
and
in,
whatever the
you
chat,
fuck
don't.
chat.
TC
Wait,
Yeah,
wants to
chat.
say because
One
that's
mic, one mic,
TC's
one mic,
hand.
guys. Chat, jump in. She's been trying to get in for a while.
Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing how the flip flopper in chief TC is talking about having a problem with somebody else deciding they want to be something else. Because he was a whole freaking Democrat doggone a year and a half ago.
That's
Okay.
just wrong.
Now,
No, 9 months ago. 9 months. Not no, 9 months
9 months
ago.
ago, how in the world are you going to have something to say about someone flip flopping and talk about it's a mental illness? So I would like to ask you the question: is there something wrong with your mind? Why did you flip flop? People have the right as adults and human beings to decide what they want to do with their bodies. But for TC to say that they have a mental health issue and then you question Mariana because she questioned him who originally made the statement is asinine. That man literally tried to insinuate that there was something wrong mentally. So
Well,
who is qualified? You?
now I'm starting to question your mental health. Are
Don't
you
don't worry
okay?
about mine, cause I know where I am. You obviously don't.
I think
Are
you
you a
don't know where you
Democrat
are.
today? Which one is it?
Well, let me
I'm
explain
weak.
something to you. Let me explain something to you.
Which one?
He's
Here's
Hmm?
the thing.
identifying as a Republican today.
Oh, it's
Here,
that's right. That's right. Thank you. Thank
here's how it works, chat. You ready for this? Ready for this? Deciding who you want to vote for president is not deciding that you're going to disenfranchise a young girl from her victory because you think you're a woman that day. Those are two completely different things. And the fact that you tried to conflate those tells me you need more mental health than I thought you did. You understand?
What
Bingo.
the fuck?
Bingo. Because
Who
it's an
said
ideology.
bingo? Sir, get out the car.
I
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
said
Get out the
bingo.
car. Let me finish. Yeah. Get
Go
out the
ahead.
car.
Go ahead and
Thank
finish.
you.
Go ahead and finish.
Thank God bless you. God bless you. Because I don't know who invited him to church today.
because I don't know what he on. No, see, this is what tells me that whenever you have to make those little snarky remarks at
My name is
people,
Snarky
because
Puppy.
you
Go
own
ahead.
that is true. That is true. You kind of you do that in a way that makes me believe that you don't understand what you're saying. Because if you had a sound argument, you wouldn't have to resort to the things that you have said to Mariana and the other people in this room. You're always attacking someone's mental, right? And you're showing your insecurities, right? So I'll start there. The second thing, though, is the reason why I talked about deciding on which party or who to vote for is because it's what you believe in, right? It's part that y'all talked about identity politics all during the last election. Identity politics. Well, guess what? If a young lady or a young man feels that they are transgender, God dang it, that's their identity, right? I don't have anything to say. Christy doesn't have anything to say about who they say they are, right? Or even to say that they have mental health issues because of it. Who am I? That's arrogant. That is arrogant. I just don't understand how you all are passing judgment, right? And making these remarks as if something is wrong, right? There are literal studies that have said that there isn't. That is literally, I think it's called gender diversity, or I can't recall. Jonathan may have
Dysphoria.
to. No, not dysphoria. Because the
Not,
other thing
you're
though
you're
is
devolving.
in
You're
children,
confusing
with
yourself
children,
now.
no mental health professional is going to tell a child or even give children hormones or any type of medication, right, to assist them in becoming a man or a boy or a girl. They just aren't, right? Like, and I don't know if you all understand the process. Now, if we're talking about adults, then that's a whole nother situation. But we're talking about
Have you heard
children
of
here.
puberty blockers?
Okay.
Well, let's see. How can I do
I'm
this?
done. Thank
Let me
you.
let me see if I can try and do this in a way that she can understand. Let's try this. All right, there's things called choices. Okay,
Yep,
some
Democrat and Republican,
things
absolutely.
some things are a choice, and some things are not. Okay, let's give you two examples. Sally wakes up one day, and Sally decides she's tired of the government stealing her money. She's tired of being ripped off by the government and forcing her to believe that the immigrants are actually her friends, even though they're stealing her stuff out of her house. Sally decides, I'm not voting for you Democrats no more. That's what we call a choice. Sally wakes up the next morning and decides, hey, those black people over there are getting a lot of privileges by being black. I think today I'm going to be black instead of white. My name's not Sally anymore. Guess what's not a choice for Sally, chat? What race she becomes. You know why? Because she's genetically predisposed to a specific race. And you don't get to choose your race and you don't get to choose your gender. And in case it was difficult for you to understand that scenario, let me break it down for you like this. In America, anybody can be anybody that they want to. What I said was very clear. I'm not stopping you from getting breast augmentation, not stopping you from off. What I'm saying is you can't do that and then come into a sporting context, a competitive sporting context, and say, hey, now you should consider me as equal to this gender because I made some changes on the outside. You
Right.
understand what that does? What that does is it
Chat,
draws
you
a
want to respond to
line.
that chat? You want to respond to that?
It draws, no. Let me
No,
finish.
thank you.
Let me finish. She's
Now,
not going
now
to
we
be able
actually have
to.
very little time, TC. This is
Well,
a
listen, I
podcast.
can't
Let me
help it
jump
that
in,
people
Jonathan.
need to be walked through what a choice is and what a choice isn't. It's clear.
Absolutely. Who's the woman that says she want to jump in?
This Rachelle.
Let's go,
Jared, I heard you
Rachel.
called me earlier. I was doing something else. So, to Jonathan H and to Mariana, love you guys and sorry for how you were treated on this stage tonight. The connotations and statements that were made to both of you, even the underlying statements, in respect to Mariana being able to understand. Um, TC is the one that need mental health treatment. Like, and I'm saying that as an absolute because what he said wasn't absolute when he said to Jonathan that the transgender community needed mental health treatment.
Diana, what you said, one, you talked about gender dysphoria. Then, secondly, you talked about how you read something that said that people in that community did need mental health treatment, but the fact that they want to get into female sports, that qualifies them for then needing mental health treatment. So I don't agree, and it's widely known on the stage that transgender should be women should be in female sports because I was an athlete, volleyball, track, tennis, the whole 9 yards, and I would be pissed if someone played with me and they beat me based on the fact that they still had some testosterone or whatever going on with them. But I also believe in living to let live. If people want to identify as transgender, male or female, that's their business. I don't know why the Republicans, and I'm going to say it, just want to have this conversation all freaking day long, every freaking day. What is the problem? What is the problem? Because most of you protest so much. Maybe we should ping in some transgenders that can tell you how many of you have been in their back channels. Okay? Then, is it mental health, TC, for you to be tall, for you to want to be taller with a longer penis?
Well, for you, it's
Do
physical
do do
health, but
you do
that's a
you do
different
you do
topic.
you need mental health treatment for that, TC? Do you? So at the end of the day, leave the transgender community, leave them alone.
Can I speak, Jonathan? When we get a chance?
Go ahead,
Yeah, can I go
Dskins. Let's
last
do
too,
it.
brother?
All right. To settle all this, first off, I want to say I support every community out there, straight, gay, trans, all that. An easy way to settle all this is I want to say that if you're a man turned woman, still play the man sport because some fairs in the locker room don't be treated the same. All that stuff. There, it's a team sport, so we don't care if you're gay or whatnot. We just want to win. If you can produce and do whatever, that what we need. We don't care about all the outside factors coming into this.
Right. Hey, TC.
Man,
Wait, T. 1 second. TC.
Let's go, Mark.
Yeah. What's up?
Hey. I didn't hear you attack the trans community at all. I didn't hear him attack the trans community at all.
I did.
Well, let me just say this. I heard TC saying it's his opinion that it's
Mental
that,
health. He said that they need mental health. That
yeah, but I
they're
didn't hear him.
deficient. He
No,
spoke to them as if
no.
they're
Let
deficient.
me tell you what I took. I took that he was saying a decision they were making is based off of something mentally it probably caused him to make the decision, like a man wanting to cut his thing off. I think that's what he said.
He said that
That's
later on.
I
He definitely did, Jerry. I'm not going to disagree with you what you heard. What I'm telling you is
well
what I heard.
let me say what it seemed like he wrapped up though, because it seemed like he was going back and forth. But I'm just saying, in TC's defense, I did not hear him, and I've personally never heard him attack the transgender community. I just wanted to say that because they're saying that, and I didn't hear it, and I'm listening to what y'all are listening to.
But assuming that they are mentally ill,
Thank you, chat.
like that's an attack
Thank you, chat.
with
Move on.
no frame of reference. Is they said the same thing to black folks. They said the same thing
Well, they said the
with
same.
Yes, they did.
yeah.
Wait one second.
They
One
said
second.
we weren't
Just
smarter.
1 second, chat. The doctors, this such experts, said the same thing about COVID. They said the same thing about the vaccine. If we're gonna talk about what doctors say, they said the same thing, and they was wrong. So I'm just saying. I'm not. I'm not picking sides. I'm just moderating.
That ain't it. Nice try, but that wasn't it.
I'm just
That wasn't
moderating.
it.
I wanted to
Yeah.
clarify a point.
But hello.
I'm just trying to get my job. Go ahead, Chad.
My
Go ahead.
point. My
I'm trying to
point
get
is,
Chad. I'm trying to get a raise. Go ahead, though.
yes, I'm here. I'm here so I don't get fined. Okay. But no. But I'm saying that they have said this about marginalized communities. We even hear this now. We hear this that immigrants or what is
Criminals.
it?
Criminals.
Criminals, right? They are, rapists. Like this is again, this is what Jonathan said at the top was this is a ploy. This is literally what it's designed to do.
yeah, so sad.
It
All right,
it
let me.
it, it hell, excuse me. Like we're literally talking about less than 0.001% of the population, first of all. And y'all are in an uproar. I said this earlier. I wish y'all had this much fight and grit for veterans. I really do. Because maybe we could get some more help. But they've said the same thing about like the whole syphilis experiment. right? They did the
See,
same thing
They
to
they they on your bumper, TC.
yeah, they did the same
I'ma
thing
stay
to
out of
black
this.
men. They did the same thing,
It's all
to
feelings and
black
emotions.
women. I don't know anything. I don't know what feeling and emotion you just heard because I'm speaking facts. Now, if you got facts, bring them.
I
But don't
got
tell me
facts.
it's
I got
emotion
facts. I got
when
facts.
I'm literally telling you what happened
I got
and what
facts.
is happening.
You're
All of
using the
the
word.
division, right? Is literally. And I said this the other day. This is the ploy. This is a distraction. This is look here while I do this. Right?
exactly.
This
I,
is this is what it's about, y'all.
I've
And
got.
I can't believe we don't see this when we are actually, again,
But
Jonathan said this,
chat
that we are part of a
is
community that this
TC's
happened
but
to.
is TC's argument
Oh,
disagreeing with that, or is he saying something different? I'm confused.
Well,
TC,
completely different.
Yeah.
But not a single
T,
not a single person has come in here tonight. Not a single person has come in here tonight and said they agree with a transgender man playing in women's sports.
actually, Jonathan did say that. Jonathan Howard
No,
did say that.
no, I did not say that.
oh,
You didn't?
No, I did not say that.
Thank you.
But
That's
I
my
did
point right
say,
there.
but
That
I did say that.
and that's the thing is, and the
Wait,
thing
wait,
is,
But,
Marty,
right?
but
hang on. Let
And
me
we
say what I said. I did say that there have to be treated. There has to be some sort of equality. Then we shouldn't be making laws against it either.
Exactly. No
no,
laws
but no, no,
against
but
it. And I agree with you. You shouldn't be making laws against it.
let me let
you
me
100%.
if
let
you're
me let
hold
me
on one second. Because how in the same breath do you say you don't agree with this happening, but you also don't agree with no laws being made against it? If hold on one second, right? Because if now I'm not saying that there isn't things that you guys are saying, or they're sneaking other things on the back end. I haven't read this entirety bill to see every single line item, right? But right now, you're saying that you don't agree with it, but we can't make any laws to prevent it. Why
Be-
not?
because we need to treat all people as equal as possible. And writing a bill is actually treating them different. Separate but equal is never equal.
So Jonathan, would you agree that if because you did say you don't agree with it, so no laws are present against it. Now a bunch of trans men who want to play start competing and saying that because there is no laws against this, they have the absolute right to do so. Would you then agree something would need to be put in place to prevent them from being able to do so?
No, I think the individual sports, whoever rolls the individual sports, can handle that.
Well, at the end of the day, those individual sports, they would still be putting some form of law up, which, and guess what?
There's
If
rules.
because of the way
Not a
because
federal
of the way
There's
our
law.
different.
US of
There's a
states
difference in
is set
laws and
up,
rules. There's
if
a difference in
because
laws and
come
rules.
on, bro. All right, you guys
Well,
can
this
water
is
it down.
the
But all right, but
situation is
my point was nobody really has come in here and been like, you know what? Absolutely, they should be playing, they should be for it. We've all come to the general consensus of no, they shouldn't be here.
because
But
it's logical. It's
we've
only
now went through
rational.
all the waterworks of this entire transgender argument, making it to where as if people are sitting here having a I'm not speaking for everybody, but for the majority of people who are talking as if we have a genuine problem with transgender folks when that's not the case at all.
It's
Not the
just
case at all.
rational. It's rational and it's logical. Somebody said that I had some sort of like misunderstanding about the contextual health, mental health issue. So I just want to point you to some facts. There's this thing called the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. They refer to it as a DSM. DSM number 4, the fourth edition of the DSM, transgender identity was classified under gender identity disorder, and it was categorized as a mental health condition. And then
How
they
long ago
changed,
was that,
no.
and then
TC?
they updated
How?
it,
Be,
and then they
there's a
be,
updated it,
DSM-5,
and then
bro.
they
Yeah, go
That's
to the
updated it,
outdated.
and then
They
they
don't
DSM-5.
use
updated it. Hold on,
Yeah,
DSM-4.
the
hold
DSM-5
on, because
TR.
now I'm cooking. Now I'm
No, no,
cooking your
Actually,
ass,
you're
and
not.
now you want to come off mic, right?
No,
no.
because
Rachelle, go
you're
back
saying
to your
false stuff.
physical health therapy, okay?
Minute.
DSM 5, DSM 5 replaced gender identity disorder with gender dysphoria, focusing on the distress caused by the incongruence between gender identity and
Congruent.
assigned sex, rather than identity itself being a disorder, which is
Now,
what Diana referenced a minute
let me
ago,
jump
which was
in.
gender
Thank you.
dysphoria.
I haven't treated
Now,
gender
hold on, hold
No,
on. That was
no,
in
no, no.
2013.
Yeah,
That
that
was in
means it's not a
2013.
disorder.
This is where it gets good, folks. This is where it gets good because this whole time, y'all was tripping, talking about, I don't know about
Hurry up and
TC
wrap this up,
being
TC.
mean and TC's
One
being
second, TC.
rude because he's
TC,
calling
I
people
need you to hurry
mental
up and
health
wrap this up.
issues. Jonathan, let me just finish here, okay? I'm not being long winded. I'm defending myself, bro. I was
I
attacked.
understand that, but we're about to wrap this up. Once
Okay,
again,
I'm done.
hurry up.
Listen, Jonathan, I'm done. I'm done. Listen, I can't help it, okay, that the she bear on the stage wants to come after me and claim that I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm quoting stuff from an actual medical journal. And guess
Nurse,
what? I'm not the only one. This is
Thank
how
you,
I
little
believe for
puppy.
So you're
25,
taking
30
it out of
years.
You're
context a
taking.
little
Okay?
bit.
I've been trying to
Okay, so
correct
you
this
you
for the
read
past
the diagnosis
minutes.
correct,
Wait a minute.
but
Hold
it's
on.
I'm
not
happy to put
mutually
everything in context,
one
but
mic
here's the
on nurse
thing.
share. One mic on nurse share. Go nurse share. Let's go, and then
You
Vishal.
read the diagnosis correct, gender dysmorphia, and you read the definition correct, but it is not mutually exclusive to transgender individuals. Everyone who is transgender does not suffer from gender dysmorphia or gender
So
dysphoria.
maybe I was talking about the people that suffer from gender dysphoria.
I
Is
think
that
you were just
possible?
weaponizing mental
Rashawn,
health support and you're backpedaling a little bit now, but
No,
it's
Yes,
all
I'm not
good.
backpedaling.
Exactly.
All I'm doing is
one
I'm
mic.
providing medical
TC,
context for my
TC,
support for
one
my
mic,
claim.
please.
I've
TC, one mic.
I've been trying to
Rashawn,
clarify.
you're up. Rashawn, let's go.
I've been trying to clarify this since Diana was kind of mentioning in the chat and then mentioned it on the stage. And yes, you are taking it out of context and not really understanding the classification of a DSM-5. So first of all, that's from the American Psychiatric Association and not the American Psychological Association. And the only reason why the American Psychiatric Association identifies gender dysphoria is because it's the association and the distress of an impairment of not being able to identify with one's gender identity. It's not because of having because of gender identity. It's the distress caused by not being able to identify. And what they do that for is to make sure that those individuals can have the care that they need, the gender affirming care that they need. So when we're talking about treating this as a mental illness, they only do that and classify that in a category of a mental disorder, the DSM-5, is simply because they want to treat the distress caused by it, not because one believes that they were born in the wrong body. So I just wanted to clarify that. And
That's wrong.
That's good.
That's
Okay.
wrong.
One mic,
it's
1 second, real quick. Real
absolutely,
quick. I said one mic.
absolutely.
All right, here's the deal, folks. First and foremost, guys, first of all, if you guys are listening to us, man, and you guys, these debates get pretty intense. If you're listening to us at home and you want to join us, download that Chatter Social app, guys. Download the Chatter Social app. And if you can get it either at the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. We do these rooms approximately 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time nightly. Okay, so come in here, guys, and have these debates with us. Hey, if you're listening to us on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, Overcast, Amazon, XM, Sirius XM, or wherever you're listening to us at, guys, iHeartRadio, appreciate you guys. Hey, if you're in these rooms, make sure you guys are hitting the links up top and downloading the podcast. Following the podcast because it means a lot, guys. I want to share something to you guys real quick. Cindy Stumple's been texting me while we're here, and she's out in a casino, and someone approached her tonight, and they said to her, "Hey, I love you on your podcast." And Cindy Stumple said, I don't have a podcast. What are you talking about? He goes, yeah, it's the one that Jonathan runs. And she goes, oh, he goes, yeah, you're my favorite character on that podcast. And Cindy said she nearly died. I say that to say this, folks. People are listening to you. All right. People are listening to you. And I got that, Nelson, myself, and Cindy, we're on a group text together. And so, and I got that probably about 20 minutes ago when she texted me. I guess that's why she's not here. She's out. But once again, guys, people are listening, and so I want you guys to know that people are listening, and they're picking favorites, folks. So hopefully they'll all join us pretty soon. But with that, I'm gonna turn this thing over to Jerry. Jerry, first of all, Jerry, how you feel about tonight so far?
I loved it, and I want to give a special thanks to everybody that was just in that conversation. I was literally enjoying the back and forth conversation. What was her name? Miki, not Miki. What's her name? You know what I'm talking about. TC. I can't remember all names. I'm sorry, but I was 100% enjoying everything, and I like the engagement. It's great. And the beautiful thing about this type of stuff, though, Jonathan, is we can have these conversations,
Absolutely.
and we need to have these conversations, and everybody's not going to agree. So I absolutely loved it, brother.
I tell you what, Jerry, let's land this podcast and keep the conversation going.
Let's land it. I'm gonna do my thank you outro.
Yeah,
Watch
do your
this.
thing. Do your thing.
No, my thank you. Look,
Nope.
I tricked you. I tricked you. I tricked you. I tricked you. So the name of this song is not called Thank You. I just had to throw a bullet at Mr. Jonathan Bing. But once again, everybody, we want to thank y'all for coming out to debate the news because y'all could have been anywhere. But you decided to be on the best show on the planet Earth with me. My name is Jerry. My last name Malcolm. And next to me in the VIP is my man Jonathan B., also known as Jonathan Bing, the man who brought you guys the Cinch Academy. So once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out, and I want to thank everybody that's on those other platforms and everybody that's all around the world listening to us on the fastest growing news and entertainment podcast, Debate the News. Hey, I think that was a pretty good switch up, Jonathan. Hey, do I get a raise for that? Do I get a raise?
No, I love it. I love it.
Do I get at least $1 raise though? If I get
All
a
right,
dollar,
I love it. Hey guys, see you guys tomorrow.
if I deserve $1 raise.